Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final match of Resurrection Cup. We are here with the culminating opportunity, our final top two teams duking it out for the glory in the Grand Finals. This is for all the marbles right here. Two exceptional teams. They've made it this far, and just one match remains, potentially two, depending on how this goes. I am Chili, your pair, joined today by iFlame. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. As you mentioned, these two teams, the two strongest in the tournament, they've gotten here not without struggle, though. Tarczynski esports, of course, falling earlier in the tournament to Dad&I 6-4 before beating them in the finals 7-1, and then beating Fiat Multipla in the losers bracket grand finals to make it here in a 7-3. Pretty decisive match in the end. Monkey Business, of course, they're coming from the winners bracket, but they did go to tiebreaker against Fiat Multipla, so certainly are not infallible. Why don't we take a look at these two teams? There are some big names on either side. For Monkey Business, we've got Bubbleman, Malteser, Kriller, Raikaho, and Nineric. So a lot of very, very strong mechanics players, very strong speed players. I think those are going to be the kind of maps we want to watch out for. Tarczynski Esports, on the other hand, we've got Bobiak, we've got Rafis, Nahus, Bartek, and Bartek. Believe it or not, we've got double Barteks going on that team, and Schiller, I'm going to guess that neither of those are Bartek. We've got Malashevsky and Milos in disguise.
What's better than one Bartek? Two. And what's better than two Barteks? Neither of them actually being Bartek.
What's better than that is one of them has an O, one of them has a 0. That's going to be a good time for us.
And they all look the same in the client.
Yes, they do.
Gonna be great. Oh, as much as I would love to see Bartek in this Grands, he's here with us in spirit, and two players who are absolutely exceptional. Taking his name in this match today is going to be quite nice for them running through. And as we move through the teams and start to take a look at this map pool and the pick and ban phase here, some very, very difficult maps laid all the way throughout, of course, given the amount of customs and originals we have in this pool. I believe the final count of originals is 9 in this pool, and customs on top of that is 4 more maps. So some variation coming across the board here. Looking at these rosters right off the bat for this, looks like it's going to be the Nomad 4 starting us off on the side of Monkey Business. So going to be get rid of anything mildly tech favored against this roster. Makes a lot of sense against that double Malashevsky roster. Going to be some speed removed on the side. On the other end, Loyalist going to be a little interesting with that speed ban overall, but I do understand it. Nineric, Malteser, very strong duo off the rip for that top team, and it's going to be the Nomad one to kick us off. So we're really looking into the aim to start here.
Yeah, very interesting first pick. This was one of their last picks in their previous match, and it's, despite it being more of an inconsistency map, it is quite difficult. I mean, they put up about a 1 million team score on it last time around, and that's kind of about what you'd expect. Funnily enough, Tarczynski Esports picked all the 3s in their last match. They picked the Hidden 3, the Hard Rock 3, the DT 3, and the Fremont 3, and only at the end, because the Nomad 3 was picked away from them, they picked the Nomad 1. So this time, banning out the DT 3, we're going to see a few new numbers out of these guys, and I do think Nomad 1 is... It's an interesting pick. It is quite surprising in the sense that it doesn't feel super free, especially with considering how much aim control is in this pool. That's something that feels like a lot of these players on Tarczynski Esports would be very good at, whereas this one is a little more comfortable, although in terms of patterns for a lot of players on both teams. And I mean, Monkey Business have some very strong aim players. You're looking at Kriller, you're looking at Bubbleman in that department, I think.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of strong maps across the board on that end for, I think Tarczynski just looking for that comfortable spot in something a little bit more aimy early, maybe try and catch Monkey Business off guard. They do have a very strong speed roster, but, I do worry about the aim to open up against this team. You get a peak day with a player like, Kriller, who is traditionally one of the best aim players that moves through tournaments in, the European region. it's a tough ask, and Monkey Business has just been great at that the entire course of the tournament. They've got some great backing as well. I imagine some combo of Bubble Man, maybe Nineric, just because 7-7 tends to be a little bit faster when it comes to these bootlegs, 230 BPM, maybe picking it up a bit. I would be surprised to see Malteser in for an aim pick, and Raikaho likewise. It could be a potential switch out there, and it does look like that is going to be the case. So they are going to go for the Raikaho aim in here. No qualms with that whatsoever. Just very interested in this Polish roster and how they're going to be able to play through these early aim picks. I think for Nahus and Malashevsky would be a strong combo to start off here, and it does look like we are maybe seeing a little bit more of a struggle on the top end, but early onset of the map here, lots to be desired as we slowly work through. I'm expecting to see some big things from both sides here. Gonna be close.
Yeah, we've seen chains of misses on either team. Monkey Business are going to come out ever so slightly ahead, and no longer the case, unfortunately, as Bubble Man finds a pretty big miss. But this pool is so difficult that we generally expect to see anywhere from 200 to 400k, depending on the map. And that means that on a lot of maps, the individual player is a lot less impactful. It really comes down to the team score, but it means if you have one player that absolutely pops off, they can absolutely solo carry the map. We've seen pretty much a full reset from Monkey Business. Raikaho drops as well. That's a complete reset. And we've got both Malashevsky. Malashevsky drops, so does Milos. I spoke too soon. Full reset for both teams, but Tarczynski esports find themselves in the lead. There's 3/4 of the map to go, so plenty of time for Monkey Business to make a comeback here. They're only down by about 60,000 points. On a map like this, it's a fair bit of score, but far from insurmountable.
Absolutely. 3 minutes is definitely doable for this, and with the combos matching up on both teams, it really just comes down to the misses in the second half here, and this is sort of what I was concerned about on this pick when it comes to both of these teams picking aim in, where you'd normally think Monkey Business would be pretty decent at these aim picks, but Tarczynski getting the advantage on some of these faster sections in here, as we do actually see a double break on their side on that stream section there. Bubbleman, the only one to find a substantial break. Raikaho does drop down, but not before pulling back about 20,000 score. And Kriller looking a little bit jittery on these dense jumps in here, but does hold the combo through. And if we can see some big stuff into this ending section, Kriller's going to make a hell of a difference in this final third here. Once again, that player that we were looking out for on this aim skill set on the side of Monkey Business going to step up at this higher BPM. Does hit the slider bit here, and we're just looking for no chain misses on that side. It's 7K and going down even more iFlame, and Kriller steps up when they need to, picked out as one of the best aim players in the European region, and sticking true to that name right now. 700 combo with support now.
Nobody on Tarczynski can hold on to any combo whatsoever. That 260 combo on Milos is the highest combo they've had in quite some time, so they're falling farther and farther behind. There goes it. Kriller finally finds the miss, but they've not pulled far enough away. It's 11,000 points. This one could go either way. Bubbleman now the highest combo in the lobby, but being matched by Malashevsky. And now everybody in the lobby has reset. We've got a 1v1, Bubbleman versus Malashevsky. This is the one we've seen a few times before. Coming to the end of the map, it's all going to come down to 1 or 2 misses. Tarczynski have a 15,000 point lead. One miss from Malice will switch this score over, but Malashevsky, in fashion, managing to hold on so far.
So close. Bubbleman coming fresh off of a win in United Kingdom Community Cup just this morning. Looking great at the ending of this map. Matching Kriller's best combo. The 1-2 jumps come in at the ending, but I don't think it's going to be enough time on the accuracy. iFlame, it's so close. The spinner could make a difference here. Kriller does miss the ending pattern, though, and I don't think it was going to go over. And Tarczynski is going to pull out their opening pick by the smallest of margins. And what a score from Malashevsky. Nearly 500,000. 4 misses total. Coming pretty close. Bubbleman at 5, but that accuracy for Malashevsky putting in so much work. 99.34.
Malashevsky in yesterday's match was on an absolute tear all match long, put up some monster scores, and looking to be the same today. Mind you, Monkey Business have a very, very deep roster, and so I think they're going to be able to compete. The Nomad 1 pick, a little dicier than they would have liked, but they get the point at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Now, we're waiting for the pick from Monkey Business, and I do think some of these tapping picks are going to be great options for them. So realistically, you're looking towards that DT2, which is kind of your, not as fast as the DT3, but it's your finger control speed. You've got then kind of two other options, which you have kind of 220 BPM streams in the no mod 2, 230 BPM speed tech in the free mod 2. So that's probably what they're looking for, but I do feel like even something like the DT1, that AR 10.4 consistency DT map, could be pretty good for them as well. I think the DTs should generally favor Monkey Business, maybe outside of the DT4.
I agree. Anything that's like super left-hand focused on here, they're going to be able to leverage that top-end skill cap of their roster, and it is going to be the Nomad too, so they're not going to quite go in for the super high speed. They're going to go for maybe a little bit more of that awkward Nomad 2 stream map here. Going to kick it down to 220, but definitely high skill cap requiring. You need a very broad command of mechanic skill sets in order to navigate this Nomad 2, especially with how funky some of these streams are. So definitely looking to use that flow aim ability that this roster does have, and man, Monkey Business is not the team you want to go up against on flow aim, you know, as evidenced by that DT3 ban early here from Tarczynski on that DT3, really removing some of that super fast flow on as well.
Yeah, this map, very tricky, a lot of spacing changes throughout the streams. Not a super long map, so these early combos are going to matter a fair bit. And this was actually banned out previously by tarczynski esports, so Monkey Business using that information to their advantage. Evidently, tarczynski not the most comfortable on this map. Curious who we see in for this one. Of course, we're going to see Malashevsky on almost everything, but otherwise, I think we've seen Milos do really well on a lot of these more aim control focused picks. Maybe they bring in Nahus for the third. We will be finding out shortly.
Well, let's wait and see what they're putting up for the rosters on these sides. I imagine we're going to see a slight shift in Tarczynski's roster here from that aim pick that we had on the first end. I do think Malashevsky is going to be in for most of these maps, if not all of them, given his performance in the lower bracket match. I do think Nahus, Rafis, maybe the other. It looks like it's actually not going to be Nahus in for this one, but Rafis with the good luck, have fun likely in. Some combo Nineric, Malteser, Bubbleman, Kriller. Raikaho maybe on these awkward streams, but it depends on how good they're feeling today. And it looks like it's going to be a good day for Raikaho, in for the aim and in for the streams. Nineric, Bubbleman going to be joining them. Understandable that we're making a little quick switch out there. Malteser might just be here for those high BPM DTs in for the rest of this pool here. Maybe some of the hard rocks on like a stretch end. It's going to be Rafis, Milos, and Malashevsky. Once again, I believe the same roster from the first map for Tarczynski here.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what makes this Monkey Business roster so scary, is it really feels like on so many maps, they have 5 players that can play that to a high level, and just having the options to switch out who's playing which map given on the day, depending on how players are feeling, is a massive advantage, as opposed to, you know, if you have the same 3 stuck in on the map, one person feels bad, and all of a sudden you're having a pretty rough time. We do see the first 2 misses coming out, just going to be a trade between Bubbleman and Raph. This is a map that we're going to see some higher combos in, a lot more dense, but this map gets harder as it goes on, so we're going to start to see some bigger misses. Raph finds the next miss. There goes Malashevsky, I believe it is. It's going to be 2 FCs to 1 in favor of Monkey Business. Bubbleman continues to find chain misses, but as long as the other 2 can hold on to these FCs, they're going to be a good spot. Unfortunately, Raikou does find the miss, but immediately traded back by Milos, and tarczynski esports have no full combos left in sight. Nineric misses on nothing. I mean, has built up a 50,000 point buffer, but boy, do you want that one back.
What in the world did Nineric just miss on the lowest velocity section? Does find another break after, and Malashevsky with some combo does finally drop it, and that 50k lead might just be enough at the beginning, you know, bearing any chain misses. At the ending here, we're basically seeing matched up duos. I mean, Bubbleman, Rafis basically matching each other up on that top section. It's Nineric, Raikaho versus Milos and Malashevsky on the bottom. Again, very close between the two. Nineric finding another set of misses there, but Rafis found a break. There goes Malashevsky as well, and Bubbleman with some combo at the top to win that duo. Up on the top, hits the space stream alongside Raikaho, misses immediately after, but it's Raikaho to pull up some awesome score into the ending, hitting one of the hardest patterns in the entire map. Gonna pull up at least to that 500 combo by the ending with this density, and that is going to be a very confident opening pick from Monkey Business here. Is going to find the miss at the end, but 200,000 score is what you love to see on your opening pick if you're Monkey Business, and that's going to be traded right out.
Very nice score from Nineric on that one, and 200,000 doesn't seem like that much, but when the pool is so difficult and teams are getting, you know, on average anywhere from 800K to 1.5 million on maps. 200,000 is a pretty substantial team lead. So Monkey Business gonna feel very good about that one. Of course, tarczynski will have the next pick. We'll see if they do want to go back to the threes or if they want to stick with their aim. I personally would like to see them switch things up a little bit. The aim, they won it, but it didn't look super decisive, certainly not as decisive as you'd like to see for a first pick. And remember, this is the last set of picks before we go back into the next ban phase, and so you really need to make these ones count. You know, there's no reason not to be picking your absolute strongest maps. One map that they did actually look incredibly good on is, I mean, a few maps, is the DT3 as well as the, sorry, not the DT4, as well as the HD3. Malashevsky absolutely popped off on this one, putting up 550K, and they got 1.3 million as a team. So this one is a custom map. It's going to be Terminal, and this is going to be 185 BPM in control hidden pick. It's another little bit, honestly, it's very difficult, but probably easier than the Nomad one or the Nomad 2.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, you know, and again, I think that kind of comes with these more difficult map pools, like you were saying, where the team scores are so low that you can see solo carries on these maps where you have these players who are really good at these more specialized skill sets and things that they play quite frequently. And, you know, we sort of got like a half glimpse into that with Monkey Business's first point on the board there with that Nomad 2, where with that score difference, they could have played without Bubbleman and still won that map. So this is a 3v3 tournament, and you hit a pool this difficult, and the 3v3 is not always what you need. The versatility is very helpful, but a single player that has a really good run on one of these maps is absolutely able to pull some points out for their team here. And like you said, if we can see a similar performance from Malashevsky that we have before, this could mean some absolutely amazing stuff for tarczynski in the remainder of this match, especially needing to get that bracket reset through here. Now, I would be concerned about playing against a player like Kriller on a hidden 3 like this as well, because right alongside Malashevsky, who we talk about quite frequently, this is one of Kriller's best skill sets, bar none. And if he's having a good day, well, that's some scary 1v1 matching that happens there, and then that's where that team difference comes in.
I would favor tarczynski slightly on when it comes down to that team difference as well, assuming Malashevsky and Kriller are going to match. We're going to see some bigger combos early on, and Eric is going to find the first really big miss of the match as both Milos and Malashevsky have recovered. Also, just realized Malashevsky is 8-3-0, whereas Milos is 3-8-0. So easier way to tell the difference than the O versus the 0, but otherwise, everybody holding strong so far. There goes Milos and Nahu's tarczynski dropping their combos very quickly, falling by the wayside a little bit. All of a sudden, all the pressure is on Malashevsky, and you've got Kriller matching, you've got Bubbleman matching as well. Kriller does drop, but if Bubbleman can hold on, then Monkey Business could be well poised to find themselves with a breakpoint. We've still got half of the map to go. There goes Malashevsky, and now Bubbleman has a chance to close this one out for Monkey Business. Just need to hold on for another 100-200 combo, but this is a slower section. Free advantage being built up by Monkey Business. It's all going to come down to this ending and how long Bubbleman can hold on.
70,000 score gap right now. Bubbleman's going to advance this quite a bit if he's able to just maintain the aim control through this section. Kriller, stunning accuracy despite having a couple misses in that last section. 98.6. Barely below Malashevsky right now. Some good stuff from the side of tarczynski, but it is going to be a break from Milos, and is going to drop some accuracy. Misreads the slider overlap pattern as well. Going to lose score on Nineric, who now takes the lead in that duo, and it's just Bubbleman unchecked right now. Nahus finds the break. Malashevsky being matched by Kriller. Bubbleman drops, but that was just the gaining score for Monkey Business, and potentially a mispick from tarczynski. It's a break from Kriller, but I think it's far too little too late for Malashevsky. Does find a slider break on that slider stream, and what a duo performance from Kriller and Bubbleman on here into the ending and the beginning. Kriller, Bubbleman straight through the entire middle of the map is going to come up just short of 700,000 into the ending here, but that is going to be one of the most impressive scores we see this afternoon, I venture. That is unbelievable from Bubbleman. Just 2 misses on the board. Nahus and Milos not too far behind, 2 each as well.
Yeah, very, very impressive. That's the best score we've seen on the map this weekend by about 130,000 points. So definitely a mispick from tarczynski, and that one's especially devastating because now Monkey Business have a chance to ban out one of those maps that tarczynski could have gotten a point on. I think this format where you have the two early picks, the two early bans, sorry, couple picks, and then another phase of bans are super, super punishing when you do give up a breakpoint before the second round of bans. Now, they could even things out if they get a breakpoint back, but Monkey Business have shown to be very proficient on their pick as well as their opponent's pick. They could very well go back to the tapping, but at this point, I could see them, even opting into something like the aim control if they feel really confident on that. They could still certainly look at those DT picks as well as the free mod tapping if they do want to stick with tapping, and I think both options have looked really strong for them so far. They do also know about tarczynski's scores, so if there is a score there that they feel confident they can beat, then I think they'll be pretty confident to pick that. But tarczynski had some very good scores, so I would be surprised to see many of the played maps picked by Monkey Business, at least early on.
Yeah, this is going to be a strong potential final pick here for this first phase for Monkey Business. This 3-1, while in a grand finals, doesn't mean quite as much. A consolidated breakpoint going into a very confident ban phase after is going to be a big advantage for our upper-sided team here. If this was the other way around, it might not be as big of a deal, but when you're already fighting that uphill battle against a well-versed team, it does start to become dangerous, and that DT2 coming out is exactly what you were mentioning earlier, and what we've been looking at with this Monkey Business roster are these DT picks for them. Certainly not the highest BPM DT pick. That one was banned out by tarczynski at the start of the map, that 300 BPM, but 255, the next closest thing, and only AR-10 being the interesting part of this map is that you're really not getting approach rating gapped on this one, but you are still getting that raw speed, far less comfortable than that DT1. And that's really where these speed players on the side of Monkey Business shine a lot of the time. And this is, why I mentioned Malteser maybe staying out, just coming in for these super high skill cap DT maps. It's why we see a player like Nideric on here, and I'd be hard pressed to not see potentially Kriller in actually as the third for Monkey Business on this one over Raikaho. Definitely trending more towards the stamina than these more like speed and technically focused DTs in here. So that's going to be my pick for Monkey Business. tarczynski definitely going to be running Nahus on this map. Milos, I think, also going to be making a return in for this one. And I do wonder on that third for them. Malashevsky, not always that speed player, but definitely with the way he's been playing today is a great third option.
Find out short like really great. Now this map has a lot of finger control and pretty tricky to aim streams. So like you mentioned, just the raw tapping is not good enough on a map like this. You have to be very comfortable aiming these streams as well. And I think that's something that Kriller really excels at. So very well could be a player to look out for. Of course, Nideric is going to be the player to watch on any of these faster tapping maps. Goes without saying at this point. And it is going to be Bubble Man, the third for Monkey Business. I mean, hard to complain after that showing on the HD3. Very different style of map, but I think this one is one we could potentially see some slightly higher scores on, at least compared to the previous few maps. And especially from individual players, we could certainly see a couple, one or two 500, 600Ks. Now, the early eye test doesn't quite match that, as pretty much the entire lobby is struggling. Malashevsky, the only one to hold on to any combo whatsoever, and that's going to be a pretty sizable advantage for tarczynski esports early on, but does find the miss right at the end of the pattern, and Monkey Business are going to breathe a sigh of relief here.
I mean, that's what you look for on these more technically focused DTs, is kind of what I was mentioning. You have these slider patterns, these quick switches, and you saw that first break from 5 players across the board on these quick snap sliders. And that's sort of why I was giving that concession over to Malashevsky playing this one, even not necessarily going to be the highest BPM player. The fact that this is only AR-10 going into the DT2 compared to some of the other ones, which are like 10.3 and up going through, is the slider capabilities that Malashevsky has even on this high BPM. Now, I am surprised that we're not seeing a little bit more of a confident performance from Monkey Business, this being their pick, you would have expected their DT roster to be really ready for this. Malteser looking a little more shaky than usual. Had a combo there, and Nineric just not able to find his grounding on these sliders. Really good accuracy, very clearly comfortable with the streams, but needs to be able to put up some combo on here. And, well, it's going to be Milos all the way through. 98% accuracy to put up that massive lead. The break means absolutely nothing halfway through.
Yeah, on a map this long, 150,000 points is a pretty massive score differential, and Nineric is up to 400 combo. As I say that, finds the miss, and Monkey Business just haven't really been able to build up any consistent combo. Tarczynski, although they found a lot of misses, they've consistently had at least one player on a fairly high combo, so they're just continuously pushing this advantage further and further. They have found some more misses. Now Monkey Business have some combo, but they again immediately drop it off once they hit that 300 mark, so they're going to be making a dent, but incredibly slowly, and they're quickly running out of time here. They need to find at least one player who can put up a massive combo, and so far that's just not been the case.
I mean, they're just getting outdone by Milos at every turn here. 300k, the first player to do so. Nineric, the only one even remotely close to that on the side of Monkey Business, and we're seeing breaks from everyone here. It's 80k, and it is going down with the stamina maybe slightly dropping on some of these players. The accuracy not favoring either team here. I mean, you've got double 90, double 94, and then Milos slightly outperforming Nineric on that 98 almost, and that's literally the entire score difference, you know, effectively on that slot right there. I mean, it's 90 to 100k between Milos and Nineric, and with a triple break coming out on the side of Monkey Business, Rafis and Malashevsky going to be putting up combo into the ending to once again bring the score lead back onto their side. And the DT, we sort of mentioned earlier that it likely favored Tarczynski with their roster here, and you know, even if Monkey Business was confident on this pick, their DT roster clearly not stepping up for this DT2 when they likely wanted to. And Tarczynski's DT roster, man, Milos just putting on an absolute show, outperforming everyone in the lobby, and not too bad from the support on the side as well. Malashevsky almost matching Nineric on the board there. And slightly more trouble for Rafis than others in the lobby, but still putting up a great score, coming close to that 200k to at least get somewhat close to where Bubbleman was down at the bottom. And 100k is just enough to avoid what could have been a bad scenario for Tarczynski, but they get the break point back immediately from Monkey Business.
Yeah, that earlier break point could have been so impactful for Monkey Business, but that's now been neutralized. And so, missed opportunity here for Monkey Business. Definitely a couple of missed picks, but that does show how difficult it is to find picks into either team, right? There's no guarantees, and the difference between winning a map and losing a map could easily come down to variation on the day. Your practice scores don't mean anything now, and so we wait for the second phase of bans. After winning that DT2 pick, maybe they do want to leave some of the other tapping maps open, and we do see them go for the free mod 3, so they're going to play it safe and ban out that the last speedy pick in the pool. There's really not all that much tapping left at this point. That's all either been picked or banned out. And for Monkey Business, they've got a lot of information. Would like to see them ban maybe something like the No Mod 5 that Tarczynski looked really good on, even something like the DT4, something Malashevsky put up 800k on. So unless you have someone to match that, I think you ban it out. But they're going to ban the HD2 instead. Interestingly, this was banned out against Tarczynski in yesterday's match as well. So the teams seem to fear Tarczynski quite a bit on this pick. It is AR8 overlap aim rating. So I guess that's understandable because the Monkey Business don't really have any low AR players on their roster. And so into the next set of picks, I think Tarczynski actually do have a fair few options. I think generally the aim control is going to look good for them. I do think that No Mod 5, a slider aim map, would be an interesting pick. Even something like the DT4 could be good for them. Two maps that I thought we might see banned out from Monkey Business, but didn't end up being the case.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting next pick phase here. I think that No Mod 5 should come out relatively soon from Tarczynski, maybe within these next two picks here, especially if they're looking good and they want to keep that momentum going. It does ride quite a bit on Malashevsky putting up the same performance that he did yesterday. That 930k is an absolute godsend and did contribute to that score gap. But it is going to be the Nomad 3 first, so we're going to see Narrative come out. This was another pretty decent map, but definitely more of an across-the-board performance for Tarczynski on here. All players still looking really nice on this. This was a 400 to 500k average for them across the board. Not the biggest score gap that we saw in that lower bracket match, but it certainly was a healthy one at that 300k, even with the other team performing fairly well. High accuracy on Malashevsky on the alt pick as, expected, and then I'm expecting to see a similar roster from yesterday. I don't think there's any reason that they would switch this out.
No, not at all. And interestingly enough, Tarczynski has pretty much stuck with the same picks from their last match. All of the maps they've picked so far were maps they picked themselves in their previous match, and so they clearly have maps they're comfortable on, have a strategy locked in, and they're sticking to it, and it is really nice to have that comfort. And this map is another alt aim control map, a good mix though of kind of snap and aim control alt to watch out for. It is definitely, like you said, higher averages than we've seen on most of the previous maps, and that does mean that usually the individual player won't make as much of a difference as they have potential to do on the really, really brutal maps. But Monkey Business, I mean, this is such a great matchup between these two teams because it feels like there's no map that's a guarantee, right? Most of those were banned out, and at this point, you slightly favor one team on various maps for one reason or another, but ultimately the players are good enough on both sides that all it takes is one player to pop off, and we could see breakpoints very easily. You know, a player like Kriller could absolutely destroy a map like this one for Monkey Business. Bubbleman as well has been playing phenomenally so far today, and good luck, have fun in the chat. Tarczynski Esports not looking to give up another breakpoint. We'll see if they can win this Nomad 3 once again.
They're going to want to minimize the damage as much as possible in this match here because they do have a second set to make it through should they prevail in these final few picks here. And that means quite a long evening for these European teams here to be playing 2 matches back-to-back. So the earlier Tarczynski can find some success here, the better for them. If they have to fight through, they have to fight through, and nothing has really been said in this match thus far. We've seen the breakpoints go back, we've seen the close picks, and we've seen where the confidence lies in these players. Looking for maybe a little bit more of a step up from Nahus on this one. Didn't look amazing on the intro pick that they were in for earlier, but maybe going to be a little bit more confident as we go into this Nomad 3. Does find an early miss, but, you know, this is a completely different style of map than anything we've seen in the pool thus far. This fast snap aim is not something that you can really prepare yourself for until you get into it, unless you were specifically practicing it beforehand. And into the early section, it was basically just that traded out with Raikaho here with a little bit more success on the side of Nahu, so the accuracy side of things. And as we get into this first Ki, now this map being just barely over 3 minutes is going to start to matter with these breaks coming in at 400 to 500 combo, and it's going to be Kriller on the side of Monkey Business to find the first break. Unsurprising for Tarczynski, holding strong on those bottom 2 players. Kriller, surprising early break on the side of Monkey Business, though, and it's Milos to trade it out. Bubbleman Malashevsky, once again, this 1v1 we've seen multiple times.
Familiar 1v1 indeed. Last time it was Bubbleman who won out in the end, but both players looking incredibly strong. Malashevsky with a slightly better rack does find the miss. Now Bubbleman so far winning this 1v1 once again, drops as well, and those 2 misses are going to cancel each other out. Monkey Business going to come out slightly ahead with Kriller's 350 combo, but Milos not too far behind, and Nahus on a bit of recovery as well. 60,000 point lead is pretty nice for Tarczynski, but with half of the map to go, all it takes is 1 big miss, even 2 big misses, and that's going to go back over in a heartbeat. It's going to go back over slowly as things are. Very tricky pattern, but only claims Raikaho, so Monkey Business squandering away that advantage a little bit as things should stay relatively even now until we see the next set of misses. We've got a very tricky ending pattern coming up. Milos, Nahus both finding the miss. It's all on Malashevsky to hold on for Tarczynski. Manages to do so through that pattern, but Kriller and Bubbleman are pulling this back very, very quickly. Kriller only needs another probably 100 combo to flip the score back over, and if Malashevsky misses for Tarczynski, they have lost this one instantly. They need some recovery as well. Nahus missing is not going to be helping them out, and Monkey Business looks like they're going to be taking this one. They just need to hold on for another 5 seconds, and they're going to have this one in the bag. We'll see if Kriller can hold on through this ending pattern. There goes Raikaho, but had already missed. Bubbleman and Kriller both find
double
drops.
break.
Can Malashevsky bring this back? It's only 15,000 points, but
It's already
Nahus
there.
and Mulis are struggling as well. It flips back over instantly, and in the end, Tarczynski managed to take it with a very solid score from Malashevsky. What a comeback.
Look at this from Tarczynski holding through to the ending. It's a break from Milos with that support, but there is just nothing on the side of Monkey Business, and the immediate pullback from Tarczynski here. Not nearly enough at this ending to make the recovery go back to their side. Not with that chain miss from Raikoho on that linear stream, especially. Actually going to increase score gap, 150k into the ending, and Tarczynski barely, but certainly more confident than that first pick, going to take out their next point. That's a 3-2. Monkey Business now needs to find a confident point on the board right now. 2 to 3 down in that winner's position is undesirable, but not unrecoverable. It is their pick to start to continue to work through this second half of the match, and they're going to want to maybe look away from those DTs. Their DT roster clearly a little bit labored over the aim requirement on that DT2. Makes me think that they're going to want to avoid the DT1 going into the next part of this match as we look for something confident for them now going in. All these awkward maps likely to favor the side of Monkey Business, especially with the way that their roster is set up across the board. I know they banned out that Hidden 2, and that Hidden 3 is already gone, but a mechanically favored Hidden 1 might not be a bad option for them, especially if Kriller is having a good day on the board. If Bubbleman also looks good on the aim, it's a strong point for them. I don't know if they go straight into the tech, but maybe even that free mod 4 we talked about earlier, a potential pick for them to start to go into something that is very, very awkward. But Malashevsky on a map like that is always a point of danger if he's able to pull out that FC. But we haven't seen quite as many from him in this match thus far, and it actually is going to be the CS 6.5 map, Hard Rock 2 Excelsia, going to come out here. This is not a bad spot, I think, for Monkey Business to go into a precision Hard Rock, but definitely maybe a little bit more contention going into a precision map for Monkey Business. They have a strong Hard Rock roster on the side of Tarczynski that I would not willingly go into this early, but Monkey Business must have some good combos on their backing.
Yeah, I have to imagine this is a aim control stream precision pick as well. Has some, 2/3 of the way through the map, there's some absolutely brutal flower patterns that have caught people out. And overall, it's an absurdly difficult map. So evidently, Monkey Business have at least a couple players that are very comfortable on the map. I imagine that is the kind of thing that we'd see Kriller do very well on. But like you said, Tarczynski has some good players for this as well. Nahus, an incredibly strong Hard Rock player. Yet to see Bobiak in. Unsure if Bobiak is available for this match. May just be waiting for 1 or 2 maps, but that remains to be seen. But overall, I do really like this pick for Monkey Business. They're kind of sticking with some of these more tricky mechanical picks, and I think so far it's worked out well for them. But obviously, you don't want to give up a break point. Want to keep this one as even as possible. You cannot afford to give up any momentum to a team like Tarczynski Esports, because they will absolutely run away with it.
This is the spinning point here for this match. We talked about that 3-1 potential for Monkey Business being something that Tarczynski had to worry about later. They successfully eliminated that threat, and now one more threat on the other side stands at the doorstep of Monkey Business, a potential 4-2 lead for Tarczynski if they aren't able to pull out a confident precision performance here. It's going to be Nineret, Kriller, and Raikoho. Nahus, Bartek, Milos going to be, or Bartek, Milos, Malashevsky, Milos. I knew I'd make the mistake at least once, going to be the bottom for Tarczynski here. And again, looking for that step up from this trio on the precision. Strong roster on both sides, maybe a little bit more confident overall on some of these later patterns, but you're already seeing why this map is so difficult to maintain your precision on these dense wiggle streams, these pattern changes, the awkward shapes of some of this flow aim leads to those chain misses, and the accuracy already falling pretty hard on Tarczynski at the start here with those low drops here. Kriller gonna find a substantial break for Monkey Business to maybe give Tarczynski the chance to come back from some of that early damage. Once again, another miss, an over aim on the left for Kriller on that triple pattern here. Gonna find a little bit more confidence in this flowing section, but not before a second break from Monkey Business, and this score lead is starting to go down rather quickly now that these combos are maintaining on tarczynski. But it's a full team reset, and Nineric, the Norwegian hero for Monkey Business right now, 100k, 300 combo, the only one in the lobby, going to be holding them up heavily with that 96.7 here. How much more can he do?
It's massive accuracy gap right now as well. Kriller, the highest in the lobby by a fair bit, 96s for the other two players, and it's going to be 94, 92 across the board. Here we go into that flower section. This part is absolutely brutal. See if anybody can hit it. So far, only Kriller still holding on, but there are more flowers to come. Still plenty of time for Kriller to miss. Kriller popping off. Nineric hits that as well, and Monkey Business are going to come out on top. Now, there is a very tricky tech section in the end, but 200,000 points is going to be so tough for tarczynski esports to make up in the end, and especially with this easier section that's just free combo advantage for Monkey Business. And this might be the decisive point they needed. We're very quickly running out of time, and it looks like Monkey Business going to be securing this pick. There is a miss from Kriller, but I just don't know that tarczynski esports have the combo, though this is a pretty dense section, so maybe if we see a complete meltdown, it's a full team reset for Monkey Business. There goes Nahus, though. Nahus needed to hold on to the combo there, and that will be the point for Monkey Biz. Going to tie things up 3-3, and boy, do we have a match on our hands here.
Continuing to hold on for that winner's side team. Good combos into the ending for Malashevsky and Milos, but not enough against Nineric and Kriller. Double 400k, and that is going to be a fairly close point in the grand scheme of things for Monkey Business. One of the closest ones we've seen thus far for a pick that they've won. And an amazing middle section from Nineric. Kriller hitting some of the hardest patterns in the entire map. Decent backing from Raikaho. Lowest score in the lobby, but only by a small margin under Nahus there. As 3-3 rolls in, and these two teams still have quite a ways to go through the remainder of this match, leaving all of the remaining picks up for grabs at this venture. We have no idea where this is going to end up. Kriller even stating a low roll on that one. You know, I could see it. There was a lot of misaims on the left and the right, definitely having some trouble on some of those jumps. And that does happen on Precision. You know, if you're not on the pattern right at the start, it's very easy to get thrown off on these maps that flow pretty heavily. And you know, that's just sort of the way that it works out in that sense. And the Hard Rock 3, without fail, immediate pick from tarczynski. So even after losing that Hard Rock 2, we're going to go back into the Hard Rock, but a fairly high intensity map compared to Hard Rock 2. Circle size 5.6, so certainly not within the precision range, but more intensity, more tech favored. Again, the flow aim aspect of this map is there, it's present, but it's not in the same way as that Hard Rock 2 with the stream patterns in here. Definitely more snappy, quick cursor movements, and it does favor that top end of the roster on the side of tarczynski.
Yeah, I think the idea with this, I mean, this is tarczynski esports sticking again with their picks from last match. They're going to continue that trend, but I think the idea is to let Malashevsky pop off. Last time we saw this played, Malashevsky completely destroyed the rest of the lobby, put up 500,000 points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but pretty much everybody else in the lobby was very close to 220, 230k. You know, you had one or two people who approached 300,000, but then you had Malashevsky with a confident 500,000 points, and I think that is the idea here. Let Malashevsky absolutely pop off on this pick and take over. Now, we've seen Bubbleman and Kriller both matching Malashevsky at various points, so if they're able to do so here, then Monkey Business have a very real shot at taking this one, but it's another absurdly difficult map, and these Hard Rock maps in general have a crazy amount of aim control in them, and I think that generally does feel pretty good for tarczynski. So here we go into the Hard Rock 3. This one, the longest map in the pool, so definitely some element of consistency as well. I have to say, I do appreciate that Malashevsky and Milos are always in the same slot, so you kind of get used to it. You know that the bottom left slot is always going to be Malashevsky, and the bottom right slot always going to be Milos until wait till they switch it up for tiebreaker, you know, just to mess with us. But yeah, this map takes a little bit to pick up, but once it does, we're gonna see a lot of drops very, very quickly. And we do see an early miss from Nahus. It's not going to be too impactful. This is the kind of map where accuracy could play a big role as well. Once the map picks up, we may very well see some accuracies drop off. Here we go into the map. The misses start to rain down. 2 from tarczynski, 1 from Monkey Business, but we're going to see a lot more shortly. And Raikahu, the only one left still holding that full combo. We'll see how long that lasts. I don't think it's going to be very long. Malashevsky trying to pull up that recovery, match Raikahu, but there's a pretty much a full reset from tarczynski. Raikahu absolutely popping off right now. Still holding, finally finds the miss, but it's a full lobby reset. So just a nice 70,000 point lead for Monkey Business, and now there's a lot of pressure on Malashevsky to bring this one back.
That is an unbelievable combo from Raikahu at the start of the map and is going to be an absolute godsend later. That 70k early gap on here, seeing a little bit of struggles on the side of tarczynski from Nahus. Has not had an amazing start to this match on those first 3 picks. Definitely looking less confident than we usually expect to see from them as that 1-6 pattern comes through to catch some players off guard. There's a few more. It's going to be Milos caught off, and once again, it is now Malashevsky to stand alone. We talked about Kriller being able to match up to Malashevsky's performance on this one. Well, who cares about matching up when you can outperform hitting one of the hardest sections of the map to go right alongside him? Malashevsky now going to be able to pull back a little bit of this score with that 350 combo. Makes it through one of the harder sections in this middle, and without a slider break at this middle bit here, it's going to be a 98% for Malashevsky, the tech hero in this match between both of these two teams. This is his time to shine. This is where tarczynski is going to need him to step up. It's 30k and holding strong. He needs some backing from his teammates, though. We can afford no cut stream breaks on the side of Malashevsky for tarczynski. And it's a miss from Ninarek to trade out with Milos right now. But as long as Kriller and Raikahu have these supporting scores, Nahus is going to need to make a massive improvement from the early onset of this match in order to get back into this. Bartek really holding through here on Malashevsky. That bottom left, 700 combo, climbing into this next key eye. Slider breaks on this jump section leading in could make a difference. It's Ninarek to find a break. Final third to come through now. The square wiggle streams. Who finds the break? We're looking for any nerves to take over here. A single chain miss is score coming back. It's going to tarczynski. Malashevsky is doing it once again. The space square stream. Can he hit through iFlame? There's only a few more seconds of this pattern. He holds for the hundreds. It's a double break for Monkey Business, and it's Malashevsky with the hardest pattern in the map.
Malashevsky does this time and time again. It is phenomenal to watch, and that's 60,000 points. It's not over yet, though. We could see a breakdown. We could see some chain misses into the ending from tarczynski. Ninarek is on a good recovery, but Raikahu miss is going to slow that down. It's a double miss from Monkey Business, traded back quickly by tarczynski, but now it's just going to be Malashevsky matching Ninarek, and that's not going to be nearly enough for Monkey Business. And it looks like Chilier. Oh, Malashevsky does find the miss. Is there time to bring this one back? This map is relatively long. Ninarek has 500 combo, and it's 40,000 points. If Ninarek hits the ending, this could go back over. This one's going to be incredibly close. Needs a supporting combo from Kriller and Raikahu as well. Very tricky patterns, absolutely nails it. It's down to 30,000 points. I don't know if it's going over fast enough. There are some bursts. Malashevsky finds another miss. There goes Nahus as well. If we see a Milos miss, it could flip back over.
Ninarek is going to do it.
No, it's not enough time.
Spin to win, make a little bit of a difference here with 4k on the spinner, but Ninarek, oh my god, 700 combo, almost.
In the end, Malashevsky does it yet again. This was the idea behind the pick. Let Malashevsky dominate, and dominate he did, putting up 500,000 points. Best score in the lobby by 100,000 points, but is all they need. And now Monkey Business looking to fight back with a pick of their own. tarczynski only have one pick left that they picked previously before they're going to have to switch things up. I think Monkey Business, they do still have some aim. They do still have some tech. Both of those good options for them. So I think at this point, with not much tapping left in the pool, I definitely like something like the Free Mod 4 if they want to opt into a more kind of balanced tech map. The DT1 is aim, but tarczynski did look fairly good on it, so I think maybe that's a pick for it later in the match when you start trying to picks. I do feel like something like the Hidden 1 could be a very interesting pick. It's a fast aim map, which with very awkward patterns, but we'll see what they want to opt into.
This is going to be an interesting avenue for Monkey Business. I mean, they've gone all over the place on this one, really. I mean, that No Mod 2 The DT2 definitely looking to avoid, again, that aim is the thing that they're going to have to go against. And that Fremont 2 you talked about early on in the match going to come out here, that 250 BPM, very burst-heavy, speed core Fremont. And with the way Nineric has been playing, I imagine him on the hard rock for this map. Perhaps Malteser on that Nomad. Definitely not the hidden player I would pick out. And then maybe, you know, Raikaho or Kriller, honestly, maybe with some bursts. You know, if he's feeling good on the burst, Kriller definitely could be a hidden.
Yeah, for tarczynski, most likely you're going to see just Nahus on the hidden, Milos on the hard rock, and Rapis on the hard rock. This is a map we've seen them play. They put up 900,000 points. It is a tough map, but Monkey Business evidently feel like they can beat that score. And it's for some reason I was like Fremont 3. Yeah, that's the speed free mod, of course, because they're gonna do it. But no, that's the anti-mod free mod. So Fremont 2 open, gonna be a great pick for them. And this one feels like it has potential for a single player to really make the difference if they can pop off, but the map is so difficult that it's certainly not likely because on top of having the 230 BPM speed tech, there's a pretty heavy aim requirement as well. There's some really brutal fast jump patterns kind of mixed in with the speed, and you know, it's the classic speed player missing on aim, but it's not just kind of missing on 4-star aim this time around. It is some really brutal aim that you have to be able to hit. Now, Monkey Business, very good aim players, but I think players to watch on this one are going to be Nineric and Milos, two of the players that have been absolutely popping off on the speed picks. And interestingly, we do see Malashevsky again for this one. I mean, it has been playing well, but oftentimes not in for the speed, but will be this time around. This map is not too long, but very dense in terms of combos, so there's a lot of potential for scores to swing one way or the other very quickly. We see 3 players dropping on that first pattern, make that 4, but unfortunately 3 of them were on the side of tarczynski, so Monkey Business are going to find themselves with a very nice early lead, and the mods are more or less what we expected. We have Bubble Man on the hidden, Raiko and Nineric on the hard rock, and then we've got Nahus and Bartek taking the hidden. So got me again. Malashevsky on the hidden as well, with Milos on the hard rock. So Nineric, last player holding that combo, as we did see Raikaho miss, but tarczynski do have pretty good recoveries. They're going to slow the bleeding a little bit. There goes Nineric now, and tarczynski now have an angle back into this one. If they can hold on to their combos a little bit longer, they're going to bring this score lead back over, and doing so very quickly, but they need to hit these squares. This is some of the more awkward aim section, and this really brutal circular stream does claim Malashevsky, but the other 2 players for tarczynski hold on, and all of a sudden they find themselves with a pretty decisive advantage. This is a very tough middle section. Oh, there goes Nahus on the easier section. Milos is the player we wanted to watch for tarczynski. Has a chance to run away with this one, but Raikaho doing their best to match as well.
This is the same problem that we saw from Monkey Business on the first speed map, but where they just cannot catch a break on these aim patterns. They look great on the streams, they look great on the bursts, but there is just such little aim to speak of between some of these quicker jumps. They're finally finding a bit of a break on this section here with Nineric and Bubbleman having a big combo, but it's more so on the breaks from tarczynski than it is from the performance earlier on. And if this circle stream has anything to say about it, that could change. Luckily, it doesn't for them. And now 50k in favor of them. They have the advantage with the combo. They have the advantage with the little amount of time that is left in this pick. And Monkey Business, despite looking a little shaky at the start, Nineric is going to be the one to pull through for them at the top of the score. Raikaho not too bad, and Bubble Man with an exceptional combo to at least match against Malashevsky into the ending to mitigate any potential comeback there. But it is Nineric all the way through. Breaks on a kick slider stream into the ending, but that is 700,000 for Nineric, resident speed mechanics player for Monkey Business, putting on an absolute show and looking far better into these later picks than we saw for some of those intro ones, and exceptional stuff on the hard rock nonetheless from them. I mean, comparing to Milos at 500k, 200k gap on that is pretty substantial, considering 500k is an amazing score to begin with there. And Monkey Business, again, maybe not the speed roster that we expected to see from them today, but certainly more than enough. An exceptional performance from the trio once again, as tarczynski now continues to look to take 1 point at a time against Monkey Business into their own map now. Going to be one of their final opportunities to continue to pull this one through before we ever approach that tiebreaker. It draws near.
Yes, it does. We're down to a best of 5, and tarczynski, they've picked all the maps that they picked previously. The last pick from them was the DT3, which they've had to ban out this time around. So we're now going to have to see something new from tarczynski. There are a couple maps that they have played and looked good on, notably the DT1. They put up a 1.5 million, but it was a very, very strong score from Malice. So depends whether Malice feels like they can repeat that score. We're going to get the Hidden One. This is a map that we've not seen so far this weekend. It is going to be custom, of course, and it's going to be Inherit. This one, 258 BPM, but it is going to be a fast aim map. Don't have to worry about the tapping, and this one is pretty awkward as well. Now I feel like Monkey Business very strong on the aim, but they haven't picked it all that much so far in this match, which has been slightly surprising. But we're getting late enough into the match that most maps at this point are fairly coin flippy. You know, all it takes is 1 or 2 misses to drastically change the outcome of the map, and I'd say there's no free picks at this point. Everything is going to be incredibly contested, and I mean, on that last map too, going back to that free mod 2, we did actually see tarczynski improve their score of about 600,000. So evidently they are on form today, and I think makes Monkey Business potentially a little bit hesitant to pick some of the other maps that tarczynski have played, knowing that they have that potential to improve some of those scores. But we'll see what they can do on this Hidden One as we draw ever closer to a tiebreaker. As a reminder, if tarczynski wins this one, we will be going to a bracket reset. Monkey Business, coming from the winner's bracket, only need the 1 win to find themselves the winners of Resurrection Cup. As well, shout out to our sponsor while you have the time, Wooding. Huge thank you to them. And if you guys want to donate to the prize pool, you know, sponsor all these players who work so hard, spend so much time practicing for these tournaments, you can donate to the Ko-Fi, and that will go directly to the prize pool. Good luck, have funds in the chat. Here we go into fast aim.
The fast aim time gonna be something that tarczynski has looked great on for this entire match, and they have yet to really give up a major gap on anything with the big aim. Now, the hidden could make a difference on that one, but we're really looking for some of those players to roll through on that side of things. Going to be Nineric, Bubbleman, Kriller going up against Nahus, Malashevsky, and Milos. Once again, that roster going to be the tough part here as we now work through what could be a turning point for tarczynski. As long as they are able to win this pick, they're going to maintain their status as being able to continue trading.
Yeah, trades are all I need. I'm not sure which team is favored on this tiebreak. It's going to be an incredibly close one, but we do see some early misses from Monkey Business. This is a 3-minute map, so there is a fair bit of time to build up that combo, but so far only one holding on is Nahus. Everybody else has fallen away. Accuracy is quite low for Bubbleman, slightly concerning, whereas accuracy is very, very impressive for Nahus and Malashevsky, up at 98, 99. It's been a full reset for Monkey Business. This is looking to be a very good pick early on for tarczynski, but we still got a lot of map to be played. Nahus up to 400 combo now. Everybody in the lobby has missed once again, but Nahus continues holding strong and looking to run away with this one early on. Finally finds the miss, but Nahus has done more than enough for the time being. 160,000 points is a pretty massive score advantage on a gap like this, and so it's going to take a monstrous performance from somebody on Monkey Business to bring this one back, or a team meltdown on tarczynski esports. But so far, it's just chain misses from across the board. Pretty much nobody able to build up more than 200 combo consistently on this pick.
And there's Nahus. That's the performance we've been looking for this entire match, and it's going to come on the aim, and you knew he was going to step up when the time came. And 266k being 60k, 70k higher than the next closest player on its own team, as Malashevsky finds a break on nothing, unfortunately, going to give up some combo there. Luckily, not a single player in the lobby is able to match up with it, and these early combos going to make all the difference in the world for tarczynski. This map just gets harder and harder as we progress through, and these scores are really not going to gain fairly quickly as we approach the final quarter here. This map not particularly long for a hidden 1 aim pick, and even with this BPM, just leaves too much room for breaking. A full reset for Monkey Business once again, and tarczynski handedly continuing to win these aim maps without a question every single time. There has been no opportunity for Monkey Business into these aim style picks here, and that's going to be a big point of contention into the next set of this match, where Monkey Business may need to consider banning some of these aim picks in here, which does force them off of some of these other bans that may be solo carryable maps that they had to remove into the starting of this first set, especially maps like that Hidden 2, which, you know, we've never even seen tarczynski play. People are just so scared right out of the gate. And 150k into the ending is nothing to scoff at on a map this difficult with 3 minutes in, and tarczynski now just one more map away from forcing that match point.
Yeah, I think the discussion around, you know, whether or not you should switch up your picks and bans for the next match, almost always the answer is yes, but very fascinating. There's so much strategy there, but it's something I don't think either team is thinking about at this point in the match when it's so close. You just got to stay focused on the pick ahead. But for Monkey Business, where do you go from here, knowing that one break point at this point would put tarczynski on match point and could be very, very tricky to get a break point back? I think they do still have some interesting options. There's a lot of tech left in this pool. We do have the free mod 4 still open, but given they banned out the no mod 4, maybe they don't feel quite as confident on the attack picks as it feels like they should on paper. But after losing that hidden 1, probably don't want to go towards the aim. If they haven't picked it by now, they evidently don't feel confident in beating tarczynski's DT1 score. So the picks get incredibly tricky. You know, you could go for an alt DT, but again, you really risk on a map like that. Malashevsky just absolutely popping off. Put up 800k last time around, so you need someone to match that. And all of a sudden, it feels like the picks have become very difficult for Monkey Business, and they are going to go for that DT1. So they're going to go for the DT aim. This is AR 10.4, highest AR map in the pool, and as I mentioned, tarczynski have played this one, put up 1.5 million score, and a lot of that was off the back of Malashevsky's 600,000 points. So they're going to need somebody to match that, and they're going to need to put up at least 1.5 million, maybe more, if tarczynski can improve. Have to imagine we are going to be seeing, I mean, we've probably seen Nineric in for the DT1, even though it's not this speed, just generally a very strong player. Probably, I mean, honestly, I could see any of Bubbleman, Kriller, and Raikahu playing this one. My guess is we see Kriller and Bubbleman, but we'll find out shortly.
Very shortly. This DT1 was something that I was a little concerned about earlier, iFlame. You know, that aim ability was shaky for Monkey Business early on in this match, you know, with their DT roster. But, you know, given that this is more of like that traditional DT1 style, you're not looking at like super high BPM technically, you know, laid out maps or anything that's going to really strain that left hand. I think this does more focus on like the back to basics with DT, and that might make this a little bit more comfortable for that DT roster, which was struggling on the aim on the speed picks a little bit earlier. We may see a couple switch ups too. You know, I know Malteser is not necessarily the biggest fan of maps like this DT1, so I wouldn't be surprised for them to maybe switch him out on here. I do think tarczynski's going to run the same DT roster that they've run for the past couple of maps, though. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't think there's much question about that. Milos has had some really good scores on some of the DT picks, but I think put up about 300k on this one last time around. So I think from Milos and Nahus, you're just looking for solid supporting scores around that 300k mark, and tarczynski are going to be pretty happy. For Monkey Business, Raikaho, Nineric, Bubbleman, who is going to be the player to step up, match Malashevsky, and keep this one nice and even? A break point this late in the match could spell disaster for Monkey Business. Now, they probably can ease the nerves a little bit, knowing that if they do make a mistake, they do lose this one, they still have the bracket reset. They get one more chance. A lot more pressure on Tarczynski here, who can not afford to lose this match. And this one is decently long, 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Definitely a consistency test. And with the high AR, sometimes it can be really tricky to act some of these patterns as well. But so far, accuracy is pretty good across the board. Malashevsky still on that SS. Don't expect that to last too much longer. Nineric is going to find the first miss, and we're far enough into the map that these misses already matter a fair bit. Bubbleman finds the next miss, and Tarczynski still holding 3 FCs quarter of the way into the map, but this is kind of what the map is. It doesn't get much more difficult into the ending, so evidently Tarczynski have practiced this one since yesterday, and already, I think, looking much better than they did in their previous match. We finally see a miss from Tarczynski on Nahus. It is going to be Raikoho trying to fend off 2 FCs, though, all alone. We need to see good recoveries out of Nineric and Bubbleman, but Bubbleman dropping yet again. Another FC gone from Tarczynski. Monkey Business are going to let up a sigh of relief on that one, but they're not out of the woods just yet. They need to continue matching Malashevsky, and they need to make up 100,000 points in the process. And right now we've got a 1v1 between Raiko and Malashevsky. If Raiko is the first to miss, Tarczynski could take this break point, but Nineric is on a really nice recovery as well now.
Look at the score lead going back right now at 60k, and it continues to go down, and all eyes are on both of those full combos for either side here. The aim, once again, giving Monkey Business a little bit of trouble. Those early breaks, just such a signal of not being quite as ready for that sort of thing. But the accuracies are matched up on basically every single slot right now, and it's going to come down to this next set of misses here. Bubbleman is effectively matching Nahus. 100 combo is only really going to make a difference if the score lead on this map at the ending is like 20k. And that Milos combo at 200 is really going unchecked. It's Nineric matching Nahus and Milos. Unfortunately, that match is going to FT from Malashevsky, and it's Raikoho into the finish here. He only needs just seconds through on this, and Raikoho, for the second time in this match now, is going to be putting up some heroics for Monkey Business. The only question we have now is, does he make it through to the finish? He doesn't. I couldn't even get through with the statement before the break came out, but those nerves gonna take over, and this is gonna be the highest score we see this match. It's gonna be 700k and climbing for Raikoho. 100k, not confident into the ending, but with a full reset from Tarczynski, Monkey Business has just barely done it on DT1.
They needed one person to match Malashevsky, and Raikoho equal to the task. In fact, beating Malashevsky, 750,000 points. What an incredible score. Stepping up when it matters most. And it's a big factor. You know, some players just have that clutch factor, show up when it matters. And it is going to be 5-5. Both of these teams have 1 pick each, but the pool, it's getting thin, chillier. These picks, not easy. There's no free picks left at this point. Any map is a bit of a coin flip here. You're seeing how close these maps are getting, and all you got to do is pick your most comfortable map and hope for the best. For Tarczynski, I think we've just seen DT1 picked. I think we could see the DT4 come out. Malashevsky put up a good score on it. It is the alt DT, something I think that favors Tarczynski slightly, but of course you do have players like Kriller that could do very well on something like the alt DT. I mean, other maps open in the pool. We do still have that no mod 5 that Tarczynski looked quite good on, so my guess is we're going to be seeing the DT4 or the no mod 5. What else is left? There's DT, there's free mod 4. I'd be surprised to see that picked. And it is going to be the no mod 5, this one, Resurrection Cup original, and it's going to be, I don't know how, Trailer, how would you describe this map? It's kind of like a slider aim map, but it has a whole lot of very awkward bursts.
Sort of put it in there. It's like a,
yeah,
it's a fast tech map is how I would put it. Like,
yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know. Yeah, how else to put it? You're right. This is a tough one to make a distinction on.
Yeah, maybe Mech Tech is the way to go. Definitely has a lot of aim, a lot of tricky sliders, and if I'm remembering the map correctly, the bursts are some of the bursts in this map are incredibly sharp. Some very crazy angles on some of those patterns. But overall, I do really like the pick for tarczynski.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one for them. This was their highest score gap in the lower bracket set before they came in here. It was like well over 400,000 on the back of this full combo that we saw from Malashevsky. And we are really looking for that performance again on the side of tarczynski. If they are able to win this map, then that sends them soaring into the match point slot. And then that forces Monkey Business to win their final pick, which, while they have been able to accomplish for the past 3 maps, has looked shaky on some things we've seen thus far, especially for a winner's bracket team who is fighting their way down here. And that leaves a lot to be desired when you're coming off of a pick as strong as No Mod 5 for tarczynski. Now, the thing I do question for tarczynski is Malashevsky has looked exceptional today. No doubt about it. Malashevsky looked untouchable in the 3rd place matchup. And if we don't see this full combo from Malashevsky on this map for a second time, they only had mid 300Ks on their other 2 players through this map, which I don't know if it is going to be enough against some of the players on Monkey Business today and how they have looked. And that's my point of concern for them. So big ups for tarczynski. This is their opportunity to force that bracket reset, but they've got hell of a lot of work ahead of them and only 1 minute and 44 seconds to do it. We see a couple of breaks come out from Raikoho on that introduction pattern here. But as we get into these kick sliders and triples, we see Ninorit caught off guard twice. This aim once again giving him trouble. There goes Bubble Man early. That's 2 breaks on the side for both teams here. Milos and Nahus to trade out these misses, but it's far more struggle on the side of Monkey Business, unquestionably. And with Raikoho breaking, it is now once again Malashevsky time. Halfway through the map already, a fast one in 500 combo with absolutely nobody to contest it.
Malashevsky has done it once on this map, looking to do it again. We go into another very tricky section. Ken Malice holds already 200,000 points chillier. tarczynski so far in the lead, and it's just more misses from Monkey Businesses. They just don't have any recovery whatsoever. Malashevsky is just not fair sometimes. What can you do against this score? Finally finds the miss, so not going to be repeating that 900K, but Monkey Business just don't have anyone to match. And this has been the most decisive pick so far this match. It's going to be 500,000 point, possibly 600,000 point lead. And yeah, maybe they could have picked this one earlier, chillier. It's looking incredibly strong for them, even without the SC from Malashevsky. And it comes down to big improvements from both Bartek on Nahus compared to last time. And so they're actually, despite Malashevsky not being able to repeat that FC, they're going to get pretty much the exact same team score on the map. Looking good for them. And now they are on match point. They can win Monkey Business's next pick and put themselves through to the bracket reset. So Monkey Business have to be incredibly careful. I believe there are 3 maps left open at this stage. We've got Free Mod 1, Free Mod 4, and the DT4. Now, personally, I think DT4 would be a mistake from Monkey Business. They know what tarczynski can do on that map. It's about 1.6 million, and I think if they thought they could beat that score, they would have picked it by now. So I think DT4 probably off the table. Then it comes down to Free Mod 1 and Free Mod 4. Yeah, Free Mod 4 is that kind of pretty balanced tech map, whereas Free Mod 1, that awkward aim consistency pick. And I think Free Mod 1 definitely more likely. I could see Free Mod 4 for them as well. I don't think it's a bad pick, but I'd give it 70-30 in favor of Free Mod 1. I think just looking at this roster, they should be... Oh, Hard Rock 1. I didn't see that one at all. But yeah, that's going to be the aim control tapping focus pick. This one has some really brutal angles on the streams and the burst. This one is a complete coin flip in my mind. It's the aim control is something that tarczynski esports really excel at, but the Hard Rock is something that, of course, Monkey Business have looked good on. I do expect we'll see Kriller back in for Monkey Business.
This is an interesting selection for Monkey Business. You know, they looked okay on the Hard Rock 2 earlier with the precision slot, but being in a completely different position with more of what I would consider like almost a consistency-focused Hard Rock 1 in terms of its stat line and the way that it's laid out. This is pretty buck standard for a Grand Finals Hard Rock 1 here. Just under 210 BPM, 2 minutes and 35 seconds, so even shorter than your average consistency map. CS 5.2, so you're looking at not even a remote precision requirement on this map, and then basically that just leaves your general Hard Rock players to be confident on this map, which is something that tarczynski has looked really good on the consistency end of, and you see it on their pick lineup with the way that these are coming through. So much is similar to this Hard Rock 1 that I do almost wonder if Monkey Business has something up their sleeve on this HR1, because it definitely looks like the type of pick that tarczynski would most likely be able to contest them on overall here. We're looking for that big step up from Raikaho again, Kriller, to hopefully get rid of a couple of those awkward misses that we saw from him earlier on in this match. And then I did see some note of an interesting third switch up for Monkey Business. Maybe they were just typing in chat before we get the good luck, have funs in here. But I am looking for that Nineric on that third there, and it is going to be Nineric on the third. So, all right, nothing crazy for Monkey Business here. A little bit of shakes from Raikaho on those first couple of hits there, actually. Hopefully Nerve's not taking over early for him here. And once again, the exact same roster for tarczynski esports. The depth of roster for Monkey Business is so crazy compared to what we've seen on tarczynski. And the crazy part is tarczynski is still winning, which just goes to show the skill level of this top end of player on their team. They have done absolutely everything this match, basically, with this trio here, with a little bit of help coming out from players like Rafis on the side of some of those DTs. And we're already seeing struggles from both teams on these quick snaps at the start.
Yeah, tarczynski off to a solid start, but this map really picks up in difficulty as we get farther on. So it is a nice early advantage, but they still have to hold on. Raikaho looking very good so far. And Chiller, it all comes down to this. Monkey Business have about 2 minutes left to find the comeback, win this map, and send this one to tiebreaker. Nahus finally drops that SC, but Raikaho trades it right back. Now Nineric on the recovery, trying to fend off Malashevsky, but Malashevsky looking so comfortable on this map so far. We're approaching that halfway point, and the second half of this map has some absolutely brutal patterns. It's misses again from tarczynski, but Malashevsky holds, and that is the key. A miss from Nineric at this point would seal this match immediately, so much pressure for Nineric, and if Malashevsky doesn't miss soon, they might just be out of the running. It's 130,000 points now, and that's a lot for Nineric to make up. They need to win their recoveries as well. Here are the tricky aim patterns nailed by both Nineric and Malashevsky, but there goes Nineric! And with that, Chillier, I think tarczynski are going to be sending this one to a bracket reset. Monkey Business so close, but not able to send us to a tiebreaker. I mean, Malashevsky has been on a tear all match long, was yesterday as well. Finally finds the miss, but has done more than enough. And Malashevsky, widely considered to be the best tournament player for a very good reason.
This is easily the best tournament player within this region, only succumbing often to players like Emrek in this sort of scenario. But across 99.9% of players, Malashevsky continues to hold up this skill level, and even then still has his slots where he just absolutely rolls through. And the Hard Rock questionability was something that we worried about going into this pick for Monkey Business. Their aim has looked shaky. Their consistency has looked a little bit off on most of the roster. And when you're going up against this top end from tarczynski, well, they just make it work. And the highest score in the lobby by an incomprehensible margin, once again, for one of these players. We saw something similar with Raikaho on the DT1, Nineric a little bit earlier on the Speed Hard Rock, and it's Malashevsky's turn once again. The full reset, and tarczynski maybe using a little bit more energy than they wanted to going into this Grand Finals match, having to slog through 5 picks for Monkey Business. They will hold on into the bracket reset, which I believe will start in just a few moments. Take a quick pause, congratulate tarczynski on their successful first set as we prepare to switch sides and get ready for that next match.
Yeah, I think both teams probably going to want to opt to take a few minutes break, let them reconsider their pick ban strategy. There's a lot to think about. I think definitely some maps that both teams are going to want to ban out instead of their current bans, and probably we'll see neither of them. There, we saw that trade of breakpoints very early on. I think we'll see both of those get switched up as well. But again, a huge congratulations to tarczynski esports. Don't go anywhere because we've got the bracket reset coming up any second now. That is going to be with Juno and Axios. That's going to do it for me and Chillier. I've been iFlame, joined by Chillier, and we'll see you back shortly for the bracket reset. Good luck to both teams. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Resurrection Cup 2025 Grand Finals. It is the bracket reset after Tarczynski Esports took down Monkey Business 7-5, an incredibly close match. It was 5-5, incredibly close all the way through, but with the last two maps, Tarczynski Esports pulled ahead to bring us to bracket resets. I am back, as it turns out. iFlame joined by Juno and Exia. Since it is a new match, maybe we have some new viewers. We'll go over the teams once again. Exia, Juno, how are you guys feeling about this match?
Yeah, I'm feeling incredibly excited. The first set of the match was an absolute baller of a match. 5-7, Tarczynski Esports winging it out by a couple of clutch scores from Malashevsky. And Hus on that Nomad 5 as well as the Hard Rock 1. And now we're into the bracket reset, which we have the teams. Monkey Business, to introduce your players, Ninrik, Bubbleman, Malteser, Kriller, and Raikoho. Incredible roster that have been pushing the limits as the first seed, and now is getting pushed to the limit by the second seed on our final match of this entire tournament. And Juno, let you introduce the other team too.
Yes, we have our number 2 seed. They fell down to the losers bracket when they faced off against Dodd and I back in, I believe, the semifinals. And now they are back. They have bracket resetted against Monkey Business. And on this red team of Tarczynski Esports, we have one of the undoubtedly best tournament players of our generation. We have Malashevsky, of course, Nahus, Rafis, Milos, and Bobiak to fight it out against Monkey Business here. We saw those incredible scores that you mentioned from Malashevsky and Nahus on more aim style maps. I wonder if that's a area that we see targeted in the bans now from Monkey Business, if they go for some of those more aim bans, maybe that Nomad 5. They are going to have a Nomad 4 ban once again. That was, I believe, banned out last time. And now we're going back to a DT3 ban, which was also banned last time by Tarczynski Esports.
Yeah, really, I think we are going to see a lot of similar bans. These two maps banned out for a reason. They are going to go with the Nomad 1 once again, so sticking to their first pick, but this was an incredibly close one between these two teams. It was, I mean, Tarczynski did win it in the end, but only by 12,000 points. So evidently they feel they underperformed on the map and are looking to get a better score, but this is definitely a risk early on. You know, personally, I feel like something like the Nomad 5, if they won by 400k, this is the time to pick it because there's a very good chance it gets banned out in the second phase of bans, whereas this Nomad 1 that we've already seen to be a lot more of a coin flip pick is very risky because giving up breakpoints before the second phase of bans with this format is absolutely brutal. Now, last match, they did end up getting traded back, so it wasn't a huge factor, but if you lose the Nomad 1 this time around, could be in a lot of trouble. So we'll see how that goes for Tarczynski Esports. As a quick reminder, last time around, we saw Bartek Nahus for Tarczynski Esports. Of course, one Bartek is Malashevsky, one Bartek is Milos, so it's 8-3-0 is Malashevsky. Nahus is 3-8-0. And for Monkey Business, we saw Bubbleman, Kriller, and Raikoho. It was kind of a Bartek, Bubbleman, Malashevsky 1v1 on this map. So we'll see if that ends up being the case again as we wait for the players to fill up the lobby, and we will get into this Nomad 1 shortly.
I think for this Nomad 1, you expect Malashevsky and Bubbleman to just pop off again like they did in the last run. I mean, a 4 miss, a 479k from Malashevsky is an absolute great score with great act, as well as Bubbleman also contesting the caliber that Malashevsky put on this Nomad 1. But I really think that the supporting scores that Nahus, Milos from Tarczynski Esports are going to try and help Malashevsky try to make this point a lot more convincingly winning for them. And of course, in bracket resets, everybody's scores are going to be a lot better. You're going to understand where you missed. You're going to understand your mistakes that you put in that first set. The good luck, have funs I've been put in. And I believe it is the same rosters for both teams. But yeah, it's the fast 230 ppm aim consistency, see a lot of awkward patterns be popped up in these kind of mapping, as well as the kit sliders as well, and a lot more combo advantage currently for the side of Monkey Business, and they are currently on the losers bracket side, but right now both teams got one loss, but whoever wins this match will be the winner of Resurrection Cup 2025. And there's a lot of drops on tarczynski esports, with Monkey Business looking a lot more comfortable this time around.
There goes Bubble Man dropping the full combo. It is going to be Nahu's trading it out. We did see Milos finding another miss. It's just Malashevsky matching Kriller on the FC right now. It's the supporting score from Raikaho right now, bringing up this combo advantage. But there goes Kriller. That is going to bring it over with this continuing FC. No, it's not an FC anymore. That's a double miss on the side of tarczynski esports. Malashevsky, Nahu's going down. And it's just Raikaho right now building up an advantage. It is going to be slowly going more and more in favor of Monkey Business with this big combo from Raikaho right now, and with more misses on Milos. Ballman does trade up. Another break from Nahu's. These two players on the bottom row, tarczynski, just can't seem to find any consistent combo as we get to the halfway point here. And we're going to have a little bit of a slower section build up, and it's just going to be more score for Raikaho building up here. Another break coming out of Nahu's, and now some recoveries on Kriller and Bubbleman.
Yeah, Raikaho has just looked better and better as this match got on. Had some very impressive scores towards the end of the last match, and picking up just as strong with this one. Finally finds the miss, but that was a 900 combo and 100,000 points in favor of Monkey Business. And tarczynski, they just don't have the combo to make the comeback right now. Now, this is a pretty lengthy map. There is still a third of the map to go, so tarczynski do have time to bring this one back, but they need to find those combos, and they have to hope Raikaho finds a few more misses, because right now there's no combo advantage for either team. And remember, this is tarczynski's pick. This would be a devastating breakpoint to give up, especially after barely having won it last match. And Raikaho has found a miss, as has Kriller. So tarczynski, they have the lead they need. They have the window back into this map. That score lead going ever so slowly in favor of tarczynski, but Malashevsky finds the miss. It is Milos and Nahu's holding, being matched by Bubbleman. It's going down, but there goes Milos. Now it's the Bubbleman Nahu's 1v1, and Nahu's misses. Bubbleman holds. Monkey Business are going to find a breakpoint on the first map, and definitely a mispick from tarczynski on that one. Not learning their lesson from the first time around.
As close as it could get. 3 combos were on the board for tarczynski esports, but a lot of drops that ended up being devastating for their comeback ability. Malashevsky pretty much getting the same score that he got in the previous set, but now the Raikaho and Bubbleman show, as well as Kriller getting some great supporting scores, makes this a lot more comfortable win for Monkey Business. 61,000 score doesn't seem a lot, but as you see in this match, with a lot of misses and a lot of combo drops, that was in an absolute close match. Yeah, and with that, the break point is cemented.
Yeah, just a strange pick, honestly.
Yeah, that was a 150k improvement from Raikaho. Got the bottom score on Monkey Business the last time that they played this, but gets that 470k, is able to lock in that break point. It's on their own pick now to consolidate this break point, and they go right away for that no mod 2. You're expecting to see big scores coming out of players like Nineric and Raikaho on this. Unfortunately, tarczynski not really having a third player that's able to play this. Rafis only getting 124k on this map the last time around, so possibly we could see an improvement from Rafis, but it is looking like a pretty decisive pick here for the side of Monkey Business in the stream no mod 2 map.
Yeah, and giving up these breakpoints, I said this in the last match as well, but with this format, because both teams still have one ban each in a couple of picks, that breakpoint is so incredibly impactful, assuming it isn't traded back, because now Monkey Business is going to have a chance to ban out one of tarczynski's strong maps, right? There was it was the No Mod 4 as well as the Hidden 2 was their other ban. So now tarczynski could have picked both the Hidden 2 and that No Mod 5 that they look so good on, but before the second phase of bans. Now they can only pick one, and Monkey Business gets to ban the other one out. So definitely some struggles in terms of strategy for Tarczynski there. Not adapting so far, and it's cost them already. This Nomad 2, of course, did look really good for Monkey Business. No surprises to see that picked again from them. And we'll see if Nineric can carry them to victory. Looked so good on this one, put about 450,000 points. And this is going to be 220 BPM aim control streams. You've got a lot of tricky spacing changes on this map to watch out for. Here we go. Monkey Business looking to consolidate their breakpoint.
And there is a Tarczynski esports roster change. Nahus is going to be in instead of Rafis. So let's see how he holds up on this Nomad 2. As you can say, I think was greatly described by iFlame. Bermesium map is absolutely going to be aim control-y hell, 220 BPM. You can see on the bottom of your screen, as well as OD10. Going to make that accuracy a lot more harder to get. So a lot more combos to be held in the middle of these maps. Very easy sections right here. Now we get into the flow section, and this is where the combos are going to drop. The combos are going to fly, but no one's dropping soon. Milosh is going to be the first one to drop, so that's going to give combo advantage towards Monkey Business as their accuracies. Everyone's above the 99% range. Nineric is going to find the first break from Monkey Business, but you have absolute insane combo and accuracy from both of your other players. It is 2v2, drop down to a 2v1 with a Nahus break, as Malashevsky needs to find a lot of combo and hope for another break from Raiko, but it trades all over the place, and that's 42k in the lead for Monkey Business with a combo on Milosh, and he FC's a little bit at the ending section through that mid.
Yeah, and look at the accuracy on Milosh right now, 99.5%. That is going to bring this back quite a bit if they can hold on for a little bit more through these intense space stream, changing spacing all the time. More breaks coming out of Nahus as well as Bubbleman. It's Nineric and Raiko right now facing off against Malashevsky and Milosh. Milosh with the big combo right now, just finally finds a break.
Oh, Milosh.
It is tramped by Nineric, but right now it is Malashevsky versus Raiko, and Malashevsky breaks! Raiko is holding on here. What seems to be the savior of this match for the side of Monkey Business is just finding these clutch combos at the right times, and is going to be bringing this score lead well back in favor of Monkey Business. Going to be going up over 150k as more chain misses come out from Malashevsky and Nahus.
Raiko has been so clutch these past few maps. Did it on the Nomad 1, now on the Nomad 2. Raiko turned into the star of Monkey Business right now. So far has been the best player in this bracket reset, and I think that is an improvement for a massive improvement for both teams. About 200,000, which is a fair bit on this map, and that is a breakpoint consolidated. Now, last match, we saw Tarczynski opt for the second pick of HD3, gave up a breakpoint. Now it was traded back, so we want to see them not pick the HD3 this time around. You don't want to give up 2 breakpoints. That would be worst case scenario. So we want to see either the Hidden 2 that was banned out from Monkey Business or the Nomad 5 that they look so dominant on. I think any other pick would be a pretty big mistake from Tarczynski. And so I think you kind of leave the HD3 completely open and let Monkey Business pick that for themselves later on at some point. Monkey Business, I mean, of course, if you give up a second breakpoint here as Tarczynski, you're nearly out of the match already. You're just in so much trouble. They're going to go for the HD1, so actually not going for the Nomad 5 or the HD2, which is very surprising. I mean, they did look good on the Hidden 1. They won it by 150,000 points, but it's far from a guarantee. I don't know. I do favor them slightly, but I feel like they could have found a better pick here.
And I really just want to mention last match that we just had like a couple of minutes ago. The Nomad 5 that they just played at the ending of that match when they were up in the 5-5 tie score. They did really good against Monkey Business for that Nomad 5 score. It is really confusing not to see that being picked out instantly, but I understand why Nomad 1 is getting picked up. I understand why Hidden 1 is getting picked out. You have about 156k win over Monkey Business for the Hidden 1, but that Nomad 5 currently, after these couple of map picks from Tarczynski Esports and Monkey Business with one more from them, the second set of bans come in, and Monkey Business can opt out to ban Nomad 5, since that was an absolute brutal score that they had to put up within that first set. And so looking at the pool right now, Hidden One, I mean, makes sense. I believe you're going to see some up scores from everybody in the lobby, and especially Bubbleman, an absolute insane player. He's been underperforming in the bit of the first set on some of these maps, but you saw in that Nomad 2, did about a 200k in the first set, and as well as 200k as well in the Hidden One for the first set as well. So you're definitely going to expect a lot better scores from Monkey Business, considering that Ninric and Kriller have been dropping a little bit of bomber scores as well. So expect some high scores this time around.
Yeah, it was Nahus that was the MVP of this map in the last match, getting just under 350k, as well as Malashevsky getting over 300k. Just Kriller on the side of Monkey Business getting over 300k. But yeah, as you were saying, just really hoping that those two scores from right, it actually is going to be Raikoho instead of Bubbleman this time. So maybe Bubbleman opting to sit out and play the hot hand on this one, as Raikoho has been putting up insane scores on both the Nomad 1 and Nomad 2 so far. Early breaks on the side of Tarczynski from both Malashevsky and Milos. Kriller and Ninric trading those out. It's just Nahu's the top scorer from the last match. Does find a break now, but it's traded by Raikoho, so we're pretty much back at even. It's just such a difficult, awkward aim map, all the way up at 258 BPM. And we do see some struggles from Raikoho here early on, but it is going to be Kriller finding an early combo. Never mind, it's going to be Malashevsky here with the top combo so far in this map, being supported by Nahus and Milos. More breaks on the side of Monkey Business as they find another team wipe. It's already almost 100k. This is more looking at like a amazing pick for Tarczynski for after that unfortunate Nomad 1 first pick. Although they do find a set of breaks of their own, but it is all traded on the side of Monkey Business.
Yeah, it's a full lobby miss. That is an absolutely brutal section, and on a map like this, where it's slightly longer in 3 minutes and the combo is not super dense, that's a pretty substantial score lead. And this second half of the map is absolutely brutal. We continue to see entire lobby misses, and with nobody being able to build up any combo, that's going to favor Tarczynski pretty heavily, approaching 200,000 score points in the lead now, and any trade of misses at this point favors Tarczynski. Monkey Business need to put up some really big combos here if they want to make the comeback, but turning out to be a very solid pick for Tarczynski. The accuracy from Nahus and Malashevsky is so strong right now. That's a big contributing factor to this score advantage, because they're both at 97. Over on the side of Monkey Business, you got a 95, a 93, and an 89 from Raikoho. I mean, putting up similar to what we saw from Bubbleman, so bit of a wash there. And yeah, we're just going to continue to see everybody in the lobby miss. Malashevsky the only one with any combo whatsoever, and with a quarter of the map to go, Monkey Business don't have the time, don't have the combo to bring this one back, and Tarczynski are going to find themselves the first point on the board, and they're going to be relieved, I think, to get at least 1 point for themselves before the next round of bans. And I believe they're improving their score here. Actually going to be about the same, but a bit of an underperformance from Monkey Business, and it's going to be 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1. Unfortunate mishaps on the first pick for Nomad 1 on Tarczynski Esports. But looking at this map, Hidden One, I think you're expected to lose this. Going against Malashevsky and this supporting team that Tarczynski Esports has on this incredible score on Nahus. I think a little bit of an up score on Malashevsky, just by a little bit. Raiko just doing this third man, subbing in and taking in that Hidden One does unfortunately lose the point, but expected to lose that. And you're looking at the future of these map picks. Last time around, DT2 was picked from Monkey Business, but that time around, it was a Tarczynski esports win, excuse me. If you're looking into something, maybe you go stick to your gut into that DT2, but you did lose out on a couple of huge accuracy on that kind of map, which did end up being that loss. For
Hidden 3 maybe?
Monkey Business, you go into Hidden 3, maybe you go into one of your Hard Rock picks. Maybe Hard Rock 2 was okay. No, DT1 was also as well, because Raiko had a huge performance on that. But DT2, they're going to stick with their gut this time around, and I believe this is a map where you look at it, it was really close, but then at the same time, 102k score lead, that Malashevsky put up a 400k against your 300k scores, as well as your really low 200k scores on this map. This DT2 possibly could go the way of tarczynski esports, so they can get their match point back, or excuse me, that break point back. But if you're sticking to your gut, I do believe there could be a lot more better scores on this map for them.
Yeah, going into this, Stamina Nomad, or not Nomad 2, DT2. It'll be a DT2, and we saw Malteser and Bubbleman maybe not put up the scores they would have liked to see, as well as Rafis on the side of tarczynski esports. We did see Nahus come in on the side of tarczynski for the Nomad 2, some possibly opting into that as well, although Rafis more known for once the BPM gets really up and higher. This being 255 BPM stamina here, and it's going to be air 10.5, OD 10, so quite standard for this this stage of the tournament. But yeah, I wonder if there's maybe a sub in. Raiko has maybe not the performance that he would have wanted on that last map, but can definitely play some of the more tapping maps. So we could potentially see Raiko in on this, but it was Milos putting up the 407k top score in the lobby last time, beating out Nineric for that top score. As we get into this, this could be Rafis again. No substitutions on this one here, as we are going to see the same rosters as last time. So this one went in favor of tarczynski by 100,000 points last time. Early breaks coming out of both sides on these slider and double sections. As, I mean, the notes are appearing so fast. I don't know what's happening here. But it is going to be early breaks from Milos, Rafis, and the entire side of Monkey Business. It is going to be Malashevsky, the one holding on to the highest combo coming into the intro of the map.
Yeah, very quick reminder, Malashevsky is the Bartek on top, Milos is the player on the bottom for the duration of this match. tarczynski esports find themselves in lead on this map yet again. Monkey Business have just had a full team reset as well. Both Malashevsky and Milos held on, so they're going to really push this score lead. Now, this is a pretty lengthy map, so there is time for Monkey Business to recover, but they need to recover quickly. Can't afford to fall too far behind. Milos does finally find the miss, but of course, Malashevsky still holding strong, putting up a really good combo right now, already up to 700, continues to push, and this map is so dense. You can put up a really big score, really big combo, all solo, if you can just hold on. And approaching 1,000, does finally find the miss at 900, but the damage has been done for Monkey Business. They're down by 160,000, and this map doesn't get any easier. It's a very difficult amount to make up, especially with Nineric not finding that same combo that we saw last time around. It's Monkey Business really feels like they're starting to struggle, and with half of the map to go, tarczynski are looking poised to get this breakpoint back, and potentially a bit of mispick for Monkey Business here.
And it's a bit of a up combo for Malashevsky. Let's just see if any combo on the side of Monkey Business could be obtained. You are getting the combo back up again, but as well as your combo going down, tarczynski keeps their combo, as well as Malashevsky and Rafis do find breaks, but you have Milos just to absolutely carry you towards this ending or back half of the map. Yeah, that mispick right now, I believe this map is already done with this combo of Milos, excuse me. And this score of 1-2, we thought maybe it could have been an unfortunate mispick for the Nomad 1, but shortly but surely, it turns into a 2-2 tie. And now we get to our second sets of bans, and you're kind of wondering, do you ban the speed pick Nomad 5 if you are Monkey Business, or do you stick with your gut and keep the same bans that you had, like the free mod, or excuse me, the hidden 2 that you had to ban against that Malashevsky low AR powerhouse? Same time around, tarczynski esports, they banned Fremont 3. Most of these maps could be coin flippy anyways. And I just have to mention Mash's score. This is an absolute insane combo, an absolute up score that we've seen from the last time on the first set. The 1,000 combo on this kind of map to pick the control, the 10.5 AR is an absolute eyeballing score to see. And so, yeah, 300k score difference. That triples the score lead that we saw on the 100k in the first set.
And yeah, it's you gotta wonder if you're Monkey Business right now. I mean, this is over 300k on a speed map here, and tarczynski esports won Nomad 5 by 500k in the last match. Surely Monkey Business is thinking that is that has to be the ban for them going into the second set of bans here. The Fremont, both teams ended up banning out Gimmick in the last time around. I think you got to weigh out the differences when it comes to Malashevsky and Nahus on reading versus Bubbleman and Kriller. So, I mean, we'll see what happens if they go for the same bans. It looks like it is tarczynski esports' ban first.
Fremont 3 once again.
Fremont 3 gone. Oh, Monkey Business.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. I think you have to risk leaving the hidden 2 open, because it's not like it's just a one player that popped off on the Nomad 5 and, you know, maybe a lucky score that won the match, right? It was a team gap. Every single player on tarczynski got a higher score than every single one of Monkey Business's players. And so does definitely like that should be the ban, and there it is, the Nomad 5 coming out. Now, I do like these bans, although I must say, so far, I've not been a big fan of either team's early picks. I mean, I think the DT2 and Nomad 1 were just, I mean, completely unnecessary risks, especially before the first ban phase. You know, imagine if instead of that Nomad 1, you had a Nomad 5. tarczynski would probably find themselves with an extra point. Similarly, if you, instead of the DT2, pick that Fremont 3, Monkey Business probably find themselves with an extra point. But with that said, once again, both teams, they kind of trade the missed picks back and forth, so it won't be super consequential in the end. And tarczynski, with their next pick, they definitely have a few options. I mean, we're looking at, we'll see if they do go for the hidden 2. It is something that I believe was banned against them in their previous match. So for the first time this weekend, tarczynski have a chance to play that hidden 2. We'll see if they want to pick it now or save it for later. I mean, some of their other picks were the Hard Rock 3. That looked pretty good for them, as well as I think the DT. Let's see, the DT4 could be an interesting pick as well, but I think hidden 2, they are going to go for the DT4. Okay.
The DT4 pick is, I think this is the first time we're going to be seeing this map in the match.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Last in the last match, and they put up 1.65 million on the pick, but it's an 800k score from Malashevsky. So as tarczynski esports has done many times, it's a very reliable strategy. Put your eggs in the Malashevsky basket and let Malashevsky pop off. So there is going to be a lot of pressure on Malashevsky, but so often Malashevsky is up to the task. We'll see if can do so again. I do think Monkey Business have very good players on this map. You know, a player like this is one we might actually see Malteser for. Kriller as well could do well on a map like this.
Yeah, you're going into this map unknown of if Monkey Business can do well on these scores. I mean, you're looking at Malashevsky, as iFlame said. You're going to put all of your faith into Malashevsky's score. 773k is an absolute insane score on a DT4 this caliber and this star rating as well. So definitely going to be looking at that kind of score for Malashevsky to pop off with, as well as Nahus and Milosh with some good supporting scores. I mean, both over 400k. That's going to be great supporting scores to be able to make your team score a lot more stronger, a lot more doable with a 164,300 kind of team score you're getting, or excuse me, 1,600,443,000. So that team score might be really hard to beat if you're looking at on Monkey Business. You do have the info on it, but they don't have the info on you. The good luck, have fun's going around, and let's see if this DT4 is another mispick, but I don't believe so, because Malashevsky, is just the wonders that he can create in these kind of huge maps and these huge pivot points in the points of the match.
Yeah, and although when it gets to a DT map with the snapping patterns that are in this one, we do see Kriller in for this map. I was hoping to see Kriller in here. Very well known for these awkward style of DT maps, as well as we see Nineric in the lobby, and rounding out their team is going to be Raikoho on the side of Monkey Business. So going to be trying to build off of that early success in the match. Could be seeing an early break coming out of Nineric on this map here. And it's really going to be telling for the accuracies here as we see Nahu's early accuracy advantage. But it's going to be also an early combo advantage on the side of tarczynski esports. Still holding on to the 3 full combos. Just Nineric going to be the one breaking on the side of Monkey Business, but Nahu's finding an early break as well. Going to be negating that, and it's going to be Nineric building backup combo. As we get into these really awkward snapping patterns, it's going to catch out Milos on the bottom side, and Kriller and Nineric going to be trading that out. So it's just Malashevsky and Raikoho here battling it out. And another set of misses from Nineric, Kriller, Nahus, and Milos. And there goes Raikoho! So there's the FC gone on the side of Monkey Business. And this is Malashevsky's playground now. They have the advantage, the combo advantage, and they are looking to run away with this.
It certainly is Malashevsky's playground. Into the break, they see the scores, they know, oh, but Malashevsky misses. All of a sudden, Monkey Business have a chance. They're still down on combos, but that's at least giving them a chance. You do expect Malashevsky to recover pretty well, put up a good combo into the end of the map, so they need somebody to match. There goes Kriller and Raikoho. They cannot afford these misses any longer. They are traded back, but no trades are good for Monkey Business at this point. It is all on Nineric. There goes Nineric, and that is going to do it. Monkey Business just do not have the time. Malashevsky not able to repeat the 800k, but still the best score in the lobby by a decent margin. Raikoho doing their best to match, but that is going to be a solid pick for tarczynski. They're going to be up 3-2, and now it's up to Monkey Business to find the next pick. And they definitely have some options. You know, they've got the DT1, they've got Hard Rock 2, they've got Hidden 3 and Nomad 2. All maps they put up some good scores on, but this match awfully similar to the last one so far. 2 breakpoints traded before the second phase of bans, and then we'll see if these two teams can start trading their picks from here on out.
The first timer, I mean, you're looking at maybe Hard Rock 2 for Monkey Business, but I don't believe that was the most winningest of maps. I mean, 100k for a win. It seems scary. It's kind of the coin flippy region for a 100k lead on a Hard Rock 2. Other picks like Fremont 2 and DT1. I mean, for the DT1, you're really looking at a Raiko powerhouse performance to be able to carry you into that winning position. But with tarczynski esports now in the lead, they're feeling very comfortable right now. Nomad 1 looking at the past doesn't matter anymore after you got that break point on the hidden one, or excuse me, on the DT2. And so with 90 seconds on the clock to pick, lots of picks from Monkey Business. Those picks I mentioned, Hard Rock 2 and DT1, as well as Fremont 2, still on the board for you, especially that notorious Fremont 2 with those absolute crazy patterns. But it's going to be the Hard Rock 2, kind of the same situations we've been seeing in the first set. Kind of like the third pick coming in for Hard Rock 2 on Monkey Business, and kind of the Nomad 2, just basically all the second map mod slots coming in for Monkey Business, sticking with their gut, sticking with their game, sticking with their pick order especially, and they're feeling really comfortable on this Hard Rock 2. But of course, bracket reset, you're definitely going to see some better scores here.
Yeah, this is quite a short map. A lot of these awkward flowing patterns that can really that are so susceptible to chain misses. If the nerves are really getting to them at this point in the match, it could spell demise for either team here. We did see this map in the last match, of course, and it was 103,000 in favor of Monkey Business, but definitely some improvement available to be made on the side of tarczynski esports, and this CS 6.5, just brutal flow aim. This, of course, being one of the only ranked maps in the pool, I believe. So kind of cool to see that in a in an age where we've seen mostly custom maps, but I find it really cool to see every once in a while a ranked map slip in there and kind of bring some hype there. But this is really going to come down to it's just 2 minutes and 7 seconds long, so any combo that you can get at any time will really bolster your team score. Only 2 minutes of just this brutal flow aim on the CS 6.5.
Yeah, very tough map. We're going to see a lot of misses on this one. And as we're getting to the map, I do want to give a shout out to the Resurrection Cup sponsor, Wooding. Big thank you to them for making this tournament possible. It could not have been nearly the tournament it was without their support. So, you know, go show Wooding some love. They've got some crazy keyboards that'll help you play like Nineric. You know, if you get a Wooding keyboard, you will play just as well as Nineric. 100% guarantee. Now, that aside, we are into the Hard Rock 2. We didn't see many breakpoints after the early ones given up last match, so Monkey Business do want to get this one back, and obviously both teams desperately want to avoid giving up any breakpoints here. Early on, Tarczynski Esports find themselves with a very slight lead, but it is actually Monkey Business who have the slight combo advantage, so they should flip that one back over. And it is very good accuracies for everybody except for Nineric, who it's a little surprising. Actually had the best score of anyone in the lobby last time around, but the accuracy definitely a concern, hurting Nineric's score. We've gotten 2 misses from Tarczynski, traded back by Kriller and Raikaho, though, is going to balance things out, and it's a Nineric versus Milos 1v1, but Milos currently winning because it's 99 versus 92% act. The combo from Milos is just worth so much more. Now, Monkey Business remain in the lead by 25,000 because of their supporting combos, but assuming this 1v1 remains, Tarczynski Esports will come out on top. It's just the supporting combo from Raiko that's keeping Monkey Business in the lead. Here we go into the flower patterns. This has claimed so many combos. There goes Raiko. There goes Nineric as well. Monkey Business full reset, and Tarczynski Esports are going to storm back into the lead. It's a 100,000 point lead, and somehow all 3 players of Tarczynski Esports hit those flower patterns. That is absolutely absurd. And now it feels like it should be a guaranteed victory. The ending is not all that difficult compared to the rest of the map. We do see misses from Nahus and Malashevsky, but the damage has been done. Monkey Business, it feels like they're just too far behind. Milos is absolutely popping off. This 600-700 combo is such a crazy score. And I mean, I don't think Monkey Business had any way to see that one coming. Finally misses in the ending, but that's another break point. And for the first time in these past 2 matches, we are going to see a 2-point lead in favor of Tarczynski Esports. Milos, what a crazy performance.
What kind of dark magic did I just walk upon? And double his score, double more his score from his first set. A 357k to this with absolute insane accuracy, hitting the flower patterns and bringing that score lead to 300k, quadrupling what could have been the lead that they could have had if they kept the same score that Monkey Business had in the first set. You had good performances from Monkey Business all around, 400ks from Kriller, Raiko, and Nin. But you're looking at Milos, the king, the carry for the Hard Rock 2. An absolute power performance to bring them into a 2-point lead, which we haven't seen like a huge lead like this since the beginning of these matches. But with that, it is actually Tarczynski's Esports pick. And now you're in such a power position to be in. You could go into Nomad 3 and let Malashevsky do all the work, or that kind of all pick. You could go into something possibly like Hard Rock 3. That's going to be the pick. That's going to go in. We're going to be seeing the KTG-ster kind of wiggle streams that are going to be popping in for this Hard Rock 3.
And sorry to interrupt you, XC. I just wanted to call out before I move on to the next map. That was the best Hard Rock score on the map. So well done to Milos there.
Amazing stuff coming out of Milos. I think that if you're in Tarczynski Esports right now, if you win a Hard Rock pick in that dominant fashion. And in the last match, you won both Hard Rock picks already, so you already have that information for this map. I think they just stick to the Hard Rock pool here. You pick the Hard Rock 3, and then maybe Monkey Business goes for that Fremont 2 or the Hidden 3 that we were mentioning earlier, maybe the DT1 as well. But I think this was a great pivot for Tarczynski, going on with that DT4 that they won dominantly, and now breakpointing on the Hard Rock 2, going more into more Hard Rock here, this alt wiggle style map here.
Yeah, this map, it's another very tricky one. I mean, Malashevsky, again, popped off on this map last time around, so there is a lot of pressure on Malashevsky to perform because Nahus and Milos both put up 300k. It's good support, but, you know, this was an incredibly close one. And, I mean, the nature of the map is there were maps that favored either team, but they were mostly won by 100,000, 150,000 points or less. And we've seen both teams improve their scores a decent amount from the last match. These teams they're locked in, they're dialed in, they're ready to go. And so if Malashevsky makes a couple mistakes, Monkey Business are going to be right there waiting to pounce, get their breakpoint back, because they're going to need to get that breakpoint back at some point in this match. We've got same lineups for both teams. Keep an eye on Kriller, keep an eye on Nineric, and keep an eye on Malashevsky as well. Those are going to be the players to watch. Now, this is the longest map in the pool, so there is that consistency you have to worry about, and I think it's an interesting dynamic. I think for Tarczynski, obviously, Malashevsky popped off and won on the map, but it was 11,000 point difference. It was incredibly close, whereas a Monkey Business, they had a generally much better team scores, with their worst score being 428k from Raikaho, so it's kind of the Malashevsky diff versus the team diff for Monkey Business. Malashevsky won last time around. Can he do it again? We're going to see early misses across the board. Raikaho, the last one, holding on to this full combo, although for the difficulty of this map, don't expect that to last very long. There it goes. We see 3 more misses coming out at once. Monkey Business have a nice buffer, but early on, the score lead swings back and forth pretty quickly. On a map like this, accuracy is a very big factor as well, and slightly in favor of Monkey Business right now. Not by much, though, as accuracy is generally being matched across the board. That pattern claims everybody except for Nineric, so Monkey Business going to continue to push this score lead and looking to get that breakpoint back. Nineric finds the miss, as does Nahus and Milos. So Raikaho is going to be the one matching Malashevsky now. Does find the miss, but it's a small combo advantage for Malashevsky. Not enough to make up the 80,000 point difference on its own, but it's certainly a good start for Tarczynski Esports as we approach the halfway point of the map.
And the halfway point of the map, as the map goes on, the harder it gets, the progressive difficulty is going to strike harder. But we are soon going to arrive to that elusive wiggle stream pattern soon enough. The beginning breaks that Tarczynski Esports do hurt a little bit. 55k score difference currently would lead on Monkey Business right now, but gut streams coming in currently right now, and I believe that stream section does come up soon. Combo advantage on the side of Tarczynski Esports, so these combos need a hold, but there's a double break on the side of Kriller and Nineric. So that's going to be all up to Raikaho to be able to gain some combo and to prevent a comeback from Tarczynski Esports. But there's a reason why they picked this map, because you have Malashevsky, Nahus, as well as Milos on these good combos and recovery combos. But here we go. I believe it's coming soon. There's what kind of break was that from Nahus? But the wiggle streams have entered. It's on your screen right now. Raikaho still holding strong. Is still going, still holding strong. We saw this before. Holds from Malashevsky, but now they come more space. Are they going to hold? Are you going to continue the dominance you had on the Hard Rock 3? Raikaho drops. Milos keeps holding. It's a double hold on the side of Tarczynski Esports. And Malashevsky does it again in front of the whole audience.
Malashevsky held on through that entire section, finally finds a slider break at the end. It doesn't matter, it's going to be 100k for Tarczynski Esports in here. Another triple break on the side of Monkey Business, and that's going to be 450k in the bank from Malashevsky, and good recoveries as well, and supporting scores from Milos here. Going to be getting up to that 300k mark as well. It is coming back a little bit at the end, but it's definitely not going to be enough into the final little flurry here. But Raikoho held on for so long as well during that section there. But it's not going to be enough as getting into this final little tech section here. And it's going to be Malashevsky once again putting up the insane 510k score in the lobby. They're up 5-2 now. If they can win on another break point here like they have in previous maps, they could go up to match point, potentially up 6-2 over Monkey Business.
Yeah, but if you're Monkey Business, it's not the end of the world. You just gotta take a moment, take a breather, get some water. 5-2 feels really bad, I think, as a player from mental standpoint. Obviously, feels terrible to be down by 3. Really puts the pressure on, but they're really only down by 1 break point. So if they can win their own pick, which they were able to do very consistently in the last match, then they're still very much in this match. They can look to find the break point later on once the pool starts to really thin out. And so they just need to bide their time and wait for later in the match to get that break point back. They do have, there are a few picks. I think the hidden 3 is the most obvious one. That was the kind of one pick they have left over that was the most dominant in the last match, but it is definitely a scary pick. It's something that we've seen tarczynski esports play a few times, so it's a question of whether or not they feel confident they can beat that score again. Monkey Business using their timeout. I think this is a very smart timeout. They've kind of lost the momentum a little bit. They've dropped 4 points in a row now, I believe. And so they're going to need to take a moment to reset, discuss their pick strategy. And I think on top of using the timeout to just, step away for a moment and take a break, you can generally use the timeout to figure out your next 1-2 picks, and I think they're going to want to put a lot of thought into that. So we'll give them a couple minutes, and then we should find out the pick shortly. My guess is hidden 3, but it's not a guarantee. They do have other options. I think the DT1 has looked really good for them. Outside of that, it's a lot more difficult because tarczynski did win on the rest of the map, so it kind of depends on what you feel like you can improve your score on. And I think because of that, beyond the HD3 DT1, I think we're gonna have to see Monkey Business opt into some new picks. Things like the free mod 4, things like the free mod 1 that went untouched last time. But for Monkey Business, you got to try something different. You got to make a change and get the momentum back in your favor.
Yeah, but considering that the bans are a little bit different this time around, Noma 5 switching from Monkey Business to that Noma 5 ban from that hidden 2 ban, tarczynski esports, I believe, has a lot more leeway now. That hidden 2 ban possibly could be a hidden trap card that Monkey Business can use and let tarczynski esports pick into them with that map. But a free mod 2 pick is coming in, and we're going to be seeing some washing machines once again on this kind of map. I believe so. This is going to be the map that's going to be absolutely ruining everybody's combos. A 230 BPM speed tech map. The aim requirement is absolutely heavy. You need to be on top of your game for this kind of map. And considering that the length of this map is only 2 minutes and 17 seconds, you don't need to be consistent for a whole lot. But the combo density of a 250 BPM map will absolutely destroy your score, as well as destroy your combo, as well as this custom song by Ardolph as well, making this song for the free mod 2.
So many amazing custom songs in this grand finals pool here. We're going to get to see another one of them right here. I really feel bad for the Hard Rock players on this. Well, really, either mod is really so difficult on this. You have to follow those insanely spaced 250 BPM streams on hidden, potentially, or it's a near 9-star 250 BPM speed map on this time. Last time we did see Ninrik on the Hard Rock, as well as Raikoho but it was Ninrik putting up nearly 700k on this map. and then it was Malashevsky on the hidden finding the best score on the side of Tarczynski esports. Nahu's maybe tanking the hidden a little bit. Found quite a few big misses on the stream sections, and as well Bubbleman on that hidden as well. So it's actually more. I'm curious if we'll see the same mod setup here, or if we see an extra hard rock on the side of Tarczynski. That won't be the case. We will see the same mods. It's now Malashevsky in the bottom left corner on the hidden, as well as Nahus, Milos on the hard rock, and then Bubbleman staying on the hidden. Raikoho and Ninarik both on the hard rock. Here we go into the washing machines. We're going to be seeing chain business coming out of Raikoho, Nahus, and Bubbleman. Malashevsky following it up with a miss of their own. It's just Milos holding on to the full combo through that first set. Just shows how brutal these aim patterns and stream patterns are. Zadorn said it best himself. Do you like playing Mai Mai? Well, here are your Mai Mai patterns on Osu. And it's going to be a full set of breaks. It actually is a little bit of an advantage here with the recoveries on the side of Monkey Business with Bubbleman. Bubbleman actually holding quite good combo through this early section of the map, as well as Raikoho supporting, just facing off against Malashevsky right now. But there goes Bubbleman. It is traded by Nahus. It's actually a full team break, and is Malashevsky and Milos. Malashevsky does find a break, but Milos does hold through that set of circle streams, and it is going to give Tarczynski a little bit of an opening here if they can find the recoveries.
Yeah, Malashevsky and Milos have switched spots, so it's now Malashevsky on the bottom, just to make sure nobody is confused. But this one is still anyone's game. There's a double miss from Monkey Business. It is traded back by Milos, and Tarczynski esports find themselves down by 30,000 points, but they have a slight combo advantage. That's really all they need. It's going to go back over slowly, but as long as we don't see any quick misses, it should flip back over. Bubbleman has to hold on to this combo. Miss from Bubbleman at this point would be disastrous for Monkey Business and would probably put Tarczynski on match points. Find some 50s, 100s, but Bubbleman holds on. Double miss from the two combos on Tarczynski esports, and Bubbleman is going to hold on for Monkey Business. Ninarik on the recovery as well, and it looked dicey for a second, but Bubbleman is back. Bubbleman is not going to go without a fight, and Monkey Business find themselves a point. It's going to be 5-3. Very well played.
He's the man you can depend on in any clutch scenario. The Bubbleman is back. Flame said the best. And that's going to be Fremont 2. Down 3-5, but a lot of maps to go. With an opportunity of Tarczynski esports still on that match point potential. And you're looking at that board right now. 478,000, as well as Ninarik with also a 473,000 score. A huge score from both of those players to be able to grab this Fremont 2. This was a lot closer than it was in the last map, but then this is just absolute wonders score from Malashevsky as well as Milos. Now who's underperforming a little bit on that 300k, but what a score and what a hole from Bubbleman into that last half, or that last washing machine pattern. And now an insta pick into the Nomad 3, the alt map. We go. A really quick one, actually. It's a mix of snappy and aim control alt, kind of modern style mapping all you would see in these kind of maps. Not an original. It is going to be a map used in other territories as a map by Livo, if I am correct. So this Nomad 3 really slots into the Malashevsky vibe, really slots into the alt vibe that man is able to put up in these kind of maps, as well as that win that they had in the previous set with about, I believe, if I can find the score, 140,000 lead, and as well as Malashevsky with an insane score of 558,000.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Raikoho did struggle on this one quite a bit in the last match. Not really as well known as an alt player, but this is the type of map that I think we'll see Kriller shine on. Did get almost 500k in the last match. It is obviously, we're all looking at Malashevsky for this match. It has made a name in tournaments for that alt control style, as well as tech maps, which is why I think we haven't really seen Fremont 4 I'm actually a little curious why we haven't seen free mod 4, because that no mod 4 ban from Monkey Business would say like, we are scared of you on tech. So, and that free mod 4 pick is a pretty standard tech map, I would say, original song by Zenjus. But going into this no mod 3 now, we are going to be seeing the same lineups as before. So Milos is still on the top now, as it was in the last map. Malashevsky in the bottom left. Nahu's rounding out the tarczynski esports as we get into this map that starts off right away into these patterns here. And early advantage here for Monkey Business on the combo with an early break coming out of Malashevsky.
This is the penultimate pick for Tarczynski Esports. So remember, Monkey Business, they need a break point at some point in this match, and they have 2 chances left. The No Mod 3 and Tarczynski's last pick. So a break point here would take so much pressure off their backs, of course. If Tarczynski ends up on match point, the nerves are going to be crazy for Monkey Business. And Monkey Business are off to a decent start, but Raiko has just found a miss. That's going to give the lead back to Tarczynski Esports. There goes Kriller as well. Monkey Business falling apart through this first Ki. Does finally get traded back by Nahus, but 2 big combos against 1. Malashevsky, not quite on the FC, but close enough that it's going to be pretty big for Tarczynski's score. Malashevsky does find the miss, traded by Raiko. That's a trade that favors Monkey Business very heavily. But Kriller finds a miss again. It is Bubbleman versus the world right now. There is no support, but Bubbleman fending off Milos. Bubbleman cannot afford to miss. We're approaching the halfway point, and this is the absolute worst place you can miss, but some very tricky patterns. There goes Bubbleman! And Tarczynski could very well find themselves on match point. Juno, Exia, Milos has been popping off this match so much on 800 combo. And this is a free combo section. Tarczynski just get to grow this score lead for absolutely nothing. There's not really any fear. And yes, we've got a Ki coming up, but Monkey Business are just too far out of it. I don't think they have the recoveries. Kriller, the last one standing, and Tarczynski find themselves on match point. Monkey Business, the pressure is on now. They have to win every pick of their own. They have to win Tarczynski's next pick, and they're gonna have to win 3 in a row to bring this one to tiebreaker.
And the path ahead is such a treacherous one. You have to win 2 of your own picks as well as 1 more of Tarczynski Esports. But the king of Prince of Poland, and especially Tarczynski Esports, are absolutely going at it. There was one little combo that Milos had in the beginning, but that they're back at it again with the backing combo. 650 combo is Malashevsky to pick up the pieces that Milos dropped, and that has the little supporting combo that he had to support his teammates in the ending here. And No Mod 3, an instant pick, and what a well-picked map this was. An absolute destructive team score upon Monkey Business's little 1 million team score currently now. And with that, Tarczynski Esports, the championship is almost theirs. With 1 more map to go, they're up 6-3 and at least 1 map pick for themselves to pick in the future of this map. Match point for Tarczynski Esports.
Yeah, it's in an even more dominant fashion than the last time. They got 1.326 million on this pick the last time. It's actually like Monkey Business underperformed a little bit, but it's just that extreme overperformance there from Tarczynski Esports. They won that by 140k last time. This is over 350k this time, a much more dominant victory here. But it is back to the side of Monkey Business for their pick. We saw them win the Hidden 3. I wonder if that's something that comes up here. It was picked by Tarczynski Esports last time, but the amount that Monkey Business won it by, I think I would consider picking it here, that Hidden 3. They also won the DT1 by about 100k, so that could also definitely be a option if they want to give Nirik and Raiko another shot at that DT1. I don't think we're going to be seeing Free Mod 1 or Free Mod 4 coming out of Monkey Business. and they lost the Hard Rock one last time. And there's the DT one. We're going to be seeing, it is called The Agony and the Ecstasy. This is a classic song. D&B, it is sitting at 260 BPM, just about 5 minutes before DT is applied. So 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So quite consistency focused. A lot of those 5 and 7 note bursts and triples, and AR 10.5 and OD 10.4. So definitely a challenge on the accuracy as well for this one.
Yeah. Oh no, it is AR 10.5. I read that wrong, but yeah, it's an interesting pick for Monkey Business. I do think it's a good one. I think, you know, between the DT1 and the N3, those were going to be their next 2 picks no matter what. So just a question of the order, and they opt into the DT1 first. Now this does put a lot of pressure on Raiko, who was the standout player for Monkey Business on this DT1. Put up something like a 800,000 point score, got the S rank, just a slider break, I believe, at the start. And so even with that, they only won by 150,000 points. So if Raiko is unable to match that performance, then Monkey Business could be in trouble. You also then have the fact that Malashevsky put up 700,000 points as well. And, you know, if Malashevsky can improve on that score, there's potential for 800, 900K there. Good luck, have funs in the chat. Monkey Business, with their backs against the wall, are going to look to stay in this match on the Agony and the Ecstasy. That's going to be the same rosters, I imagine, for either side. I mean, these teams, they're winning maps by thin margins. Let's see if Monkey Business hold on.
And hold on if they can. Monkey Business. Flame said it the best. Backs against the wall. A gun against your head. And will you deny all 3 potential points for tarczynski esports? Will you get 2 picks of your own as well as 1 of themselves for tarczynski esports? If you're on the side of tarczynski esports, if you're a fan of them, you are such in a comfortable position. You were hoping for a pop-off on Nahus, on Milos, on any player on their team currently. And if you're a Monkey Business fan, Raiko is your hero. That doesn't mean you can count out any of those other players too. Bubbleman has been popping off in these clutch scenarios, especially on that free mod 2, clutching up in the back half of that map. And now into this DT1 10.5 AR. Here we go. The jumps commence, and let's hit the road running. And that's going to be a first miss for Milo. So combo advantage right now for Monkey Business, and more misses coming from himself as well. So this is going to be really comfortable for Monkey Business this time around. Most of the combo breaks were happening around the 687 combo mark for this map, but now is happening in the 500 combo mark. And now Malashevsky is going to find the first drop. A huge score that was supposed to be from him is now going to be score capped by a whole ton.
It's going to be Narek finding a trade, but there goes Nahus as well. So it is a complete collapse from tarczynski at the beginning of the map, but you do see Raiko is just so comfortable in this map, still holding over 99% as well as being supported by Bubbleman. Although Raiko does find a miss, it is traded out on the side of tarczynski. It is followed up by another miss from Ninark as well. It is Bubbleman, the clutch man himself. In these moments, he has done it so many times, does finally find a break, but they have built up over 150k, although with this combo here from Milos could definitely be coming back very slowly.
Yeah, we've got the next KI coming up though, and it's a question of whether Milos can hold. If Milos holds onto the combo, there will be enough time to bring this score lead over, but if we see a miss from Milos, it might not be enough. It's really going to come down to this support as well. The players into the break, they're going to see the scores. Milos is going to be feeling the pressure, feeling the nerves, knows it is all up to them. They can secure it for tarczynski right now. They can win Resurrection Cup right here if Milos holds. But Ballman, Ninarek, Raiko, they've all rebuilt their combos. They are ready to pounce, ready to capitalize on any tarczynski mistakes into the stream. Nobody misses. Here we go into the final shot. And there goes Milos. Monkey Business. They should stick around for at least one more map. All 3 players, they're not ready to go home just yet. They're all on very good recoveries. and they're going to close this map out with a decisive advantage. This recovery combo from Malashevsky is just not enough, and that's going to be 6-4. Monkey Business, hold on, but they still need to win tarczynski esports' next pick. They still need to get that breakpoint back. They need to make up for that earlier breakpoint given up. And what map is left open? A map that Monkey Business banned out in the first match with tarczynski. It's that HD2, and it's honestly surprising that tarczynski have left it open as long as they have, considering the ban earlier from Monkey Business. You generally, when you see a team drop a ban in a bracket reset, it tends to be a pretty quick pick for the other team. But the fact that it's gone unpicked so far by tarczynski tells me that they're not super comfortable on the map. So it's far from as tarczynski favored, I should say, as Monkey Business might have felt in the first match. But I think at this point it has to be the pick. I mean, they do, in theory, have other options. They could go for the Hard Rock 1 again. They go for Hidden 3. That is a shocker. This is real potential for Monkey Business to get that breakpoint back. As a reminder, this was, I believe, the second pick last match for tarczynski esports, and they ended up losing it by 300,000 points. It wasn't a particularly close one. In fact, it was the second biggest score difference on any map we saw all match, aside from that No Mod 5 that tarczynski esports won. So, I mean, Monkey Business are so happy to see this pick. They could not have asked for a better opportunity to get back in this match. And I think this is a miss from tarczynski, because I think you can leave this open, pick your next best map, and Monkey Business will pick it for you next. But that's going to be the case, as we are probably going to be seeing a similar lineup for both players. The pressure still on for Monkey Business, as tarczynski esports, of course, remains on match point. It was Bubbleman, especially, and Kriller who popped off on this one. Those are going to be the two players to watch, along with Malashevsky. But, I mean, if there's anybody you'd want now, it is Bubbleman, the absolute tournament veteran. He always steps up when it matters most. He is such a clutch player, and going to be looking to clutch it up once again.
Let's see if the ice in his veins are truly pure in this Hidden 3. And iFlame said it the best. I'm extremely surprised for this Hidden 3 pick. This Hidden 3 pick, I believe it would have been something like Hidden 2. I believe it would have been something maybe like that Hard Rock 1, which they went off on that first set, which propelled them into the bracket reset that we are currently in right now. And yeah, you're definitely going to be looking at Kriller and Bubbleman. But I believe tarczynski esports is just coin flipping this. I believe they're praying for just a couple of mishaps that Bubbleman and Kriller are going to have. They maybe possibly see that is the high roll from them. So going into this map, you possibly have a mental to where, yeah, maybe you get the same scores, but maybe Monkey Business just gets even worse scores than last time. The accuracies right now are proving that it isn't going to be the case. Now this is going to be one of those players where, yeah, you need the accuracy. You're going to be a little bit of a slow start, but you're always going to find the beginning combo just to be a little anxious always. Two full FCs on the side of tarczynski esports, still 3 on the Monkey side of Monkey Business. Traded out for both FCs on Milosh and Ninrik. So right now, 2 FCs to 1 with Malashevsky on that FC, as well as the 2 powerhouses from the last set, Bubbleman and Kriller, to pull it out in this first third.
And I mean, it's already 60, 70k in favor of Monkey Business here. This is such a difficult control style map, but it is so easy to find these slider breaks. And we do see Bubbleman now slider breaking. It is traded out by Milosh, and Ninrik also does find a break, but right now it is Kriller just up against Malashevsky right now. It is still sitting around 80k, but more breaks coming out of Ninrik now, and Nahus and Milosh have built up the recoveries, and more breaks out of Ninrik! What is going on here? And Kriller goes down as well! This devastating for the side of Monkey Business. It's a full team wipe with a third of the map left going into this FC continuing from Malashevsky. This was the score that they were hoping for on this map in the last match, and it looks like Malashevsky is going to take it home for Tarczynski.
Wait, it was a bad throw! It was a bad throw! Kriller still has his combo!
And that's a real miss for Malashevsky!
What is happening?
Monkey Business are still in this one. Kriller's running away, and it's only Nahu's holding, and Kriller will bring this one back over. It's a full reset for Tarczynski. Kriller, one of the best in the world at these aim control picks, finally finds the miss, but Kriller has held on. Boncho made this one very exciting. We thought Tarczynski were gonna take it here, but Kriller absolutely popping off. 800,000 points, 99% is such an absurd score. Such a clutch performance from Kriller. And man, Boncho, I think, giving all of us here in the commentary booth and all the viewers as well a bit of a heart attack there. And Monkey Business, they get the break point they needed. It's going to be 6-5, and in the end, it is a mispick from Tarczynski. Wow, I have no words, guys. No words. Jesus.
I'm in absolute awe. Bancho, this is probably the biggest bait that Bancho has done in any OSU tournament. The longest Bancho break I've ever seen in a tournament. I believe everybody got baited so hard. I believe Tarczynski Esports just won the whole tournament there. But with that, 822k from Kriller, you have to give ops to this score. This score goes beyond from what we just saw in that first set. 722k was the greatest score from the last set from Bubbleman. And now it just bumps up by 100k on Kriller and on a Bancho miss that literally baited the whole entire stream. Madness is on the premise, and with that one last pick on Monkey Business, one last chance to push the script to the infamous tiebreaker, and it's gonna be free mod 1.
They don't go for the Hard Rock 1 pick like they did in the last match. It's gonna be free mod 1. This is a absolutely brutal, awkward aim test, sitting at, I believe, right around 220 BPM. Really dense as well. AR 9.2, so that hidden player gonna be getting really tested on the density in this map. This map by Quantum Vortex. And I mean, Monkey Business have the opportunity of a lifetime here. They're probably gonna be running both Raikoho and possibly Nineric on that Hard Rock, and then Bubbleman's probably gonna be on the hidden. So you wonder if on the side of Tarczynski Esports, you're going to be seeing Milos on Hard Rock. Nahus is probably going to be on the hidden. I wonder what they do with Malashevsky here. Do they try and match that Hard Rock, or do they take a little bit of a gamble and put a second hidden on Malashevsky here? We'll see what it ultimately comes down to, how these players are feeling. I mean, I was ready to call the tournament there.
It looked like it.
I was so ready, but we got absolutely baited, and Monkey Business have put themselves in a position where if they win this match, we are going to be going to tiebreaker, and it's on this really awkward 220 BPM aim map with free mod.
Yeah, very long map as well. 3 minutes, 44 seconds. It really is all about the consistency. Exy and Juno, Monkey Business, find themselves in a familiar situation, down by 1 point. They've got the final pick. They couldn't bring it back last time, but they're switching up the final pick this time around. We'll see if it pays off for them. And this time, I think they've got the momentum on their side. They went down 5-2, then 6-3, but they've got back 3 points in a row to give themselves a chance at tiebreaker on this free mod 1. We'll be finding out the mod shortly. I think most likely on this map, we're just going to see 2 hidden and 1 hard rock on either team. I think it's fairly balanced, but the hidden, at least to me personally, feels like it should be slightly easier than the hard rock, so I would be surprised to see double. And the 6 players facing off, we've got Malashevsky, Milos. Malashevsky and Milos have switched spots again, so we've now got Malashevsky up top, Milos in the bottom. They're going to be, it's going to be Malashevsky on the hidden along with Nahus, Milos taking the hard rock, and for Monkey Business, Bubbleman, Raikoho, Kriller trying to hold on. They've got a hidden and 2 hard rocks on Raikoho and Bubbleman, so certainly taking a bit of a risk there. We'll see if it pays off for them. We've seen quite a few early misses, but it's a long map, so those early misses are not going to be super impactful. That early pattern is crazy difficult as well, so we do expect the players to recover and rebuild their combos in there, doing exactly that. Meanwhile, Tarczynski Esports are going to be happy with any lead they can get. Even though it's a small lead, it all adds up, it all factors in, and if it comes down to the wire in the end, you know, it could very well be these early misses that make the difference. We do see another miss out of Raikoho as the players now are settling into the map nicely. We're starting to see those combos build, and the misses are getting a lot more impactful. Milos and Kriller are going to be trading, so it's 2 big combos, 2-1. That's going to favor Tarczynski, but it is Malashevsky. Of course, it's Malashevsky, the last one holding the full combo, and it's up to 40,000 points now. And the score lead is a little bit deceptive. On the longer maps that aren't super dense, 50,000 score lead is actually a fair bit. So Monkey Business have a lot of work to do to bring this one back. Killer Chain missing is not going to help them out, but Malashevsky does find the miss now. It's not enough, though, for Monkey Business. Old Man has the lead, but it's only... Oh, there goes Nahus as well. That's what Monkey Business needed. It is the Bubble Man time. The tournament veteran can bring this one back for Monkey Business, but cannot miss on this next Ki. It is an incredibly tricky one. They have the support. Can the tournament veteran, one of the most decorated players in Osu history, bring us to tiebreaker?
And I say this for everybody. I want tiebreaker. I want overtime. I want that elusive final map. Bubble Man finds a break, but it isn't going to be anything too huge considering there's no combo on the side of Tarczynski Esports. Raikoho and Killer, there to back it up, there to replace Bubble Man's combo if he were to break right there. So the recovery from that team, absolutely amazing, right? Heads up play. But Nahus, that's another huge break. Combo on the side of Monkey Business, but they all disappear. And there's combo on the side of Tarczynski Esports. Malashevsky and Milos have combo, but Bubble Man needs to hold as well. That's going to be a break from Milos. It's Malashevsky versus Monkey Business entirely. The recovery combos are back up again. They're loaded up, and Monkey Business need a hold so strong. 62,000 difference. Flame said it the best. The density of this map, the longevity of this map makes these score leads so huge, but that's a break from Bubble Man. The combos from Raiko and Kriller are contesting Malashevsky's combo, but there's more breaks from Raiko. Kriller needs to hold more, but that's a huge break from Kriller. But is there enough combo to make this comeback? Juno, this is absolutely intense. Nahus with a break.
It's coming down to the very end of the map. There is still a lead for Monkey Business right now, as they are going to see this break. They know what's at stake. Raikoho and Bubble Man both need to hold. The Hard Rock is so difficult on these wide angle patterns, and it's going to be Milos on the side of Tarczynski Esports trying to bring it back. There goes Kriller again, and it looks like with just a sliver of the map left, we're going to be seeing tiebreaker. There's not enough combo on the side of Tarczynski Esports to battle against Raiko and Bubble Man, who are just clutching up. And another break from Milos on the Hard Rock. It's going to bring it back, and it's going to be 70k. We are going to be seeing tiebreaker in the bracket reset of Resurrection Cup 25. I don't know what to say now. We're going to be seeing a 9-star tiebreaker here in bracket reset.
This tiebreaker is absolutely absurd. Ethereal Winter, it is rigid memory. This is, of course, as have been all the tiebreakers, a Resurrection Cup original. As you mentioned, 9-star tech map. This is, I mean, one of the most difficult maps that's ever been pooled. We are in for a treat. This match has been incredible. So I think we're going to give the players a second to breathe before getting to the tiebreaker. And while we do that, first of all, thank you all for watching, but I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor of Wooding. This tournament would not have been possible without them. We have had 37, I believe, original maps over the course of the tournament, which is crazy. And, couldn't have done that without Wooding's support, as well as the support from all of you guys. Thank you to everybody who has taken the time to donate directly to Resurrection Cup and contributed to the prize pool. If you want to show some support for either team, guys, you can donate to the prize pool and you can contribute directly. and whichever team wins, you'll learn them a little bit more. The players are very appreciative of that as well. So we're gonna have, yes, usually about 5 minutes here, but let's talk about potential rosters here. I mean, on the side of Monkey Business, I mean, this is I feel like Kriller must be in for this one. I mean, Kriller, one of the best tech players in the world. And then Raikaho has been absolutely popping off this match. And I think, I mean, I could definitely see Nineric or Bubbleman in as well. But I think we see Bubbleman. It feels like Bubbleman has so much history in the tournament scene. He is such a consistent player. He's always near the top. And Bubbleman just seems to like have an extra gear when it comes to tiebreakers. You know, regardless of Bubbleman's performance in the rest of the match, every time you get to that tiebreaker scenario, it feels like Bubbleman just finds that extra gear, steps up, and puts up a really good score. For tarczynski esports, obviously Malashevsky and Milos have been the duo that have been putting up some crazy scores for them this match. I think those two are almost certainly going to be in, and I think it has to be Nahus for their third, but this one is really going to come down to skill cap. You cannot understate how absurdly difficult this map is pretty much the entire way through. Here we go. Malashevsky, Milos, Nahus for tarczynski esports, Kriller, Nineric, and Bubbleman for Monkey Business. It is the final map of Resurrection Cup 2025. Only one team can be champions. Here we go.
You cannot write a better script than this one. The storylines up to this point, Malashevsky achieving GOAT status, even more supremacy in the Osu tournament scene, being feared by all of the Osu tournament players. Kriller and Bubbleman, an absolute baller duo that we have not seen in a couple of years. And Kriller, I have to mention a couple of scores. One score from King Atlantis on Corsair's Open 2022 on the tiebreaker at an absolute baller combo to be able to bring them to victory. And now, looking down, both players need to win the tiebreaker. Your legacy will be cemented here. You will be cemented into Resurrection Cup. This legacy, and it starts here. This tiebreaker through thick and thin. It is going to be absolutely crazy. Nineric will find a break right here, but this is where the map begins. It is an absolute turbulent map to go through, and you know who it is that has combo. It's Malashevsky. The tiebreaker final boss is here to play. He's here to stay, and he's here to make his name.
And 5-minute long marathon long length map. It's already 50,000 points a quarter of the way through, and you see Malashevsky. You see a little bit of shakes here, but hitting the cut patterns so easily. It's going to be getting up to almost 1,000 combo in this tiebreaker. This is over 9 stars. This is absolutely insane. He finally finds a break, but the score lead is already 60k, and there is good support on the side of Milos as well. It's just Nineric on the side of Monkey Business that has over 100k right now, and Bubbleman finding quite a few misses on that spaced out stream, still sitting down at 63k right now. There's another break from Malashevsky, traded by Kriller and Nineric and Milos as well. But we're going to be seeing misses all over this map, and it's already 70k. It's really the support on Milos right now, and the big combo at the beginning for Malashevsky that has brought this so far in favor of tarczynski, and now Nahu's getting over 100k score as well. Like, you couldn't have dreamed of a better start in this tiebreaker. We're at the halfway point here for tarczynski esports.
Yeah, on a map this long, though, 60,000 points is a lot. It is going back over, but it's not going over anywhere quickly. Now, it's a bit of a 1v1, Malashevsky versus Nineric, but Nineric finds the miss. This score lead is going to increase. It's Malashevsky once again pushing the boundaries of this map, absolutely popping off, nails that pattern, and into the break. The players see the score, they see the damages, and they know Malashevsky is holding. Malashevsky is taking tarczynski to the top. The best tournament player for a very good reason. Monkey Business at this point, they're going to need an absolute miracle to bring this one back. But unfortunately for them, this map does not get any easier. This is Another 9-star section coming up. Nahus finds the miss. That's 1 down, but 2 to go for Monkey Business. Really, Malashevsky is the only player that matters right now. Everything else is irrelevant. Monkey Business have recoveries, but the recoveries are just not enough on their own. We've got a quarter of the map to go. This last quarter is very brutal. There goes Milos. That's 2 of 3 combos down for tarczynski, but it's just not the one they need. It's a full reset for Monkey Business. Malashevsky misses as well, but Monkey Business just don't have the combos to bring this one back. tarczynski off the back of an absurd performance on the 9-star tech map from Malashevsky are going to be the winners of Resurrection Cup 2025. An otherworldly performance from Malashevsky. I mean, you almost come to expect it at this point. It feels like every tournament Malashevsky is doing something absolutely crazy, but it feels magical to witness every single time as Malashevsky somehow hits that pattern as well. It just doesn't stop. I mean, this whole match has been a treat. Huge congratulations to tarczynski Esport and commiserations to Monkey Business, but man, have they put up a good fight and made this such a fun, such an incredible tournament.
An absolute great score from Malashevsky. His true form has been revealed to all of us, and he's still going. What is this ending section of the map? There is no way in hell anyone's FCing this kind of map, but it is going to be tarczynski Esports for the victory. The Kingdom of Poland, the King and Prince, the veterans have been taken down, but it is that elusive tiebreaker that has been won from tarczynski Esports. GG's in the chat. An incredible match to watch through, in and out. An absolute thank you to all the players that have participated in this match as well. What an absolute great show to be looking at.
And how fitting it for it to be the number 2 seed, dethroning the number 1 seed. tarczynski Esports, 346,000 points coming out of Malashevsky. Like, it's just unfathomable what Malashevsky has been able to do in tournament settings, and I just thank you all for coming along on this journey. After, I believe that was 13 plus 12, like 25 maps in.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely like the mental fortitude for tarczynski Esports to make it all the way to the end here and finally put up a massive score on the tiebreaker. Thank you all for watching so much. I believe we're going to get a few words from Friel here as our host of the tournament, so I'll hand it over to Friel here.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was one freaking hell of a match. Oh. Be quiet.
Yeah, there you go. You're better.
Okay, alright. So, where should I even begin? This was probably that one match that I've ever dreamed of. Like, Seed 2 coming back from the loser's bracket straight to winning the tournament. We haven't seen this, and I quote, we haven't seen this since Res Cup 2022. Over 3 years ago, in the original Res Cup, we've only seen this once, and it happened again. With a TV, nonetheless, and I was just shaking the whole time watching this whole stream. There was just so many eyes watching, so many talented players just going at it, and seriously, congratulations to all 3 podium placements, and even the 4th place, because this is competing in such a high level tournament in terms of skill caps is just mind-boggling. Like, you practiced for this, you signed up for this, and you went through the entire struggle to get here where you are right now. So seriously, congratulations to everyone who participated, and damn, the staff, where should I begin as well? So many, over at this point, I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, there's over 300 people working on Res Cup, and that involves like all the GFX composing side and playtesting and map pooling and mappers and all that, and also the development side. Absolutely hard carrying Poon and the Corsace team. So seriously, thank you for letting us use that. Poon and Kavu, I believe. The GFX is something that we, I believe, absolutely excelled this year, because it's just what did we even do there? It's all thanks to also me and Len. They are practically responsible for everything that you saw being made, both the stream assets, and the jacket arts and the animations as well. The production side, where the music production began, that's all Kremek and Cyrus, but I also helped out here and there where I could, but it's mainly these two who did everything practically in terms of music production. And seriously, thank you, Kremek and Cyrus, for the hard work. And the mapping and the map pooling. This is also where we kind of toned it down, right, from compared to last iteration, because this year we had 10 maps less.
Yeah.
So still just about 80, but it's not 90. But either way, thank you Sky, Darkos, Haruki, Averia, Mimi, Knight, and I believe Yume? Yes.
I think so.
So seriously, thank you for hard carrying everything that's map pooling related, because you all did an amazing job. And also huge thanks to the playtesters who thoroughly looked at practically everything we've pinged them for. So yeah, thank you Knight, Markram, and there's just so many people I can't remember, but these two really excelled this year. Okay, so I'm really appreciative of them. And
I think. Go ahead.
And yeah, I didn't want to take this speech very long, so yeah, I think this should probably do it.
Yeah, and I think, of course, a big thank you to Friel is in order for organizing this whole tournament. I mean, there's so much that goes into organizing a tournament like this with all the originals and customs. It's a lot more work than it might seem. So it's a huge thank you to Friel. I can't wait to see what is next for Res Cup. But I think what an incredible end to this tournament. We could not have asked for a better match to close this one out. And as the tournament draws to a close, our final podium, tarczynski Esports in first place. Massive congratulations to them. Monkey Business in second place, and Fiat Multipla will take third. But that is going to do it for Resurrection Cup 2025. Thank you to Justin for the stream, Juno and Axia for commentating with me. One last shout out to our sponsors, Wooding. Go check them out. I've been iFlame. And last but not least, thank you guys all so much for watching. You guys, all the viewers in chat, make these tournaments so much fun to watch, to play, and to just be a part of in general. We hope to see you all back for next year's Resurrection Cup, and I hope you all take care and have a good one.